The D and Davis Show.
D and Davis Show. We are back giving you all the sports you need rubbing up against you sensually.
Oh, whoa!
Some people need it sensual.
I just had to watch a sexual discrimination video at work, so that just kind of touched me in the wrong way.
All right, now we're going off left. Those videos are I hate to say this, are damn near amusing.
They are kind of funny sometimes.
Is this
the reaction to them?
Is this did y'all watch this as a group or you had to watch it at your own?
Oh, I watched it on my own pace.
Yeah. So is this the one where it's like the guy showing booty shots of women in the office?
Oh
place?
no, I did not see that one.
Oh man, I had one last year. No,
he put him up on his phone. Like,
yeah,
hey,
and so a female coworker's like, that's so wrong.
Wait a minute, he showed the booty shots to a.
He was around her when he was showing it to other people.
Oh, okay.
So he was showing booty shots. One guy was showing porn.
Hey, mind your business, lady.
Did they go over the quid pro quo since we're in quid pro quo right now?
That's all in the news.
Oh yeah, that was the big.
Everybody quitting it up.
That was
maybe.
It was so many on quid pro quo. Like, man, she said if I would go out with it, if we was going out with it, I was gonna get this promotion. Like, it's like, whoa, son. But anyway, my name is Kenneth Davis, and you heard his voice. His name is
D Demonspro. What's happening, everybody? Hey, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. We're on Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Music, Stitcher, the TuneIn app. War will kick you over to Spotify. War on Anchor will kick you over to Spotify and YouTube as well. All right. I'm on Twitter at Demons1, DEMONZE1. Ken is on Twitter at That's Davis. Executive producer of the D and Davis Show and D and Davis The Flip. Ryan Bukoveski. You can find Ryan on Twitter. Brian B. Ski. No Guy Stevens today. I think something happened to the Beamer. You know, this is a little Lost
What'd you
Boys.
do, D?
I ain't do nothing. But I was listening to Lost Boys. Remember
I was the first person I knew had it.
the Benz Jeeps?
I was the first person I knew had it.
Well, had that album?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The Benz, the Jeeps,
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
my women and my men.
I was listening
Keep
to
your
that.
head up.
Listen to that. Renee. Love that. Love Renee. Beast from the East off of Love Happiest and Nappiness. I forgot the name of the album. I'm sorry.
You mean the Mr. Cheeks? Freaky Ty was starting to come on before he got popped.
Yeah, unfortunately. Rest in peace, Freaky Ty.
Yeah.
But no pay to guy.
No rest in peace, Freaky Ty, Ryan.
You know who
No.
Freaky Ty is?
No.
How you know Ryan don't know who Freaky Ty is?
I just asked him. He
He
said
may
no.
have a poster in his room.
He just said no.
Every night he may like hit the post like R.I.P. Freaky Ty.
Racist D.
I asked you. You said no. So that's what I was going off of. But no, guy's not here. He has a vehicle issues.
Ryan, how's the trip to Montreal?
Montreal.
Beautiful as always. I love going to Montreal, especially when it's
weather?
not freezing.
How's the weather?
Just fall. A little bit cooler than here, but for the most part, dry, nice. Did a lot of walking around. It's beautiful in our French brothers to the north.
You walked around by yourself or with family?
Mainly me and my sister.
Oh, so you both went picking up people?
Not
Like
picking
the Book
up
of Vesky
people,
style.
but we did roam the streets like it was our own.
How big is Montreal?
I think it's the second largest city in Canada.
Behind Toronto?
I believe so.
Yeah, Toronto
makes
definitely
sense.
one. I would think maybe Vancouver.
Maybe. That could be possible. I thought they're either second or third.
Okay, I mean it's not that many cities up there.
But
It's
boy,
a lot of land.
it's one of my favorites to go to.
Nice.
That's for sure.
I do want to go there one day.
You have the Les Sex?
What is the ladies like in
Your beard
Montreal?
looks different.
Terrific.
Beautiful women?
Your
Beautiful. Probably some of the best collection of women I've seen in a city.
You said the collection of them.
That's a hard statement right
That
there.
is a hard
of
one.
women's.
Just French everywhere, all kinds of color everywhere. I mean, they got everything.
What do you mean by all kinds of color?
Every color, they got everything.
Every flavor.
What type of race,
Melting pot.
What type of race is 1950? The colors are up there. I know what you're doing right.
Hey, that could be
How
a
many
sign
black
of
people
beauty.
are up there?
Oh, quite
Decent
a few.
amount?
Quite a few.
Okay.
I would think for Caribbean. I mean,
Yeah,
look at
a lot of Caribbean.
That's all
A lot
around
of
Canada.
Caribbeans.
That's how they can't get the passports to
It's
the
surprising.
America.
They just skip over.
They don't
America.
skip over, bro.
No, I'm
They
saying.
gotta go that way.
What? I'm just
It's
saying.
not a skip over.
I mean, listen,
Lennox Lewis and them didn't go up there. They didn't go. It's easier. Hakeem Olajuwon. It's easier to get citizenship there. So that's why they end up there.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying they have a very strong.
Ain't nobody
island,
like I'm gonna
Caribbean population.
skip all this land to go to freezing ass Canada from the Caribbean.
Hey man, listen, they might figure like, hey, it might be cool up here in the sense of the people, you know what I'm saying, to deal with them and to deal with the Americans.
And they can go straight to Florida and live close to the lifestyle they was already living.
No, you want to deal with the.
And Montreal, it's on
Stay
a
with
mountain,
Florida.
so you got a lot of the mountain views.
Really?
It's almost like San Francisco with the hilliness.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Appalachians?
No, I don't know. It's just on. It's on a mountain. That's I think the literal translation, Mount Royal.
I had no idea.
I didn't know. Now I feel dumb. Usually I'm good with stuff like that. Translations, Montreal. Yeah, I didn't. I usually catch on to so that's a BITCH.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's messed
So it's
up.
Healy.
The more you know.
It's like Nashville.
Yeah. Nashville's very Healy.
Yeah. You've been to Nashville, right?
I have not.
It's an
No?
app-
I think I've just driven through it.
It's great. Well, you know, driving
cool.
through it. It's anytime you start seeing those places where it's like if you're on a truck and it goes out of control, throw it over here and jump off. I'm like, no, I don't want to be
Those
here.
signs with the semi,
It's like
just always
a
in
ramp.
trouble.
The truck just jumps in the air. I'm like, no.
The worst nightmare sign. If you're
Exactly.
behind this semi, watch out.
Yeah, Nashville is pretty Healy.
All right, so let's go off. Let's do the thing real quick. Can we do the thing real quick?
It's time to go off the top.
All right, well, we figure out as we're going to name this off the top and off top seat. I let you know we went to good schools. We speak proper English. When
We
don't
speak
need to.
American here.
Good American. Midwest can get you a job all over the place. So anyway, one thing that we decided in off top, and Ryan pointed this out, especially when it comes to local sports, we would just give an aspect of what we thought about that game and further break it down further down in the show. So one, with the Bears, me and Ryan, I knew Ryan was going to be simpatico. D's basically simpatico too, is the offensive line. My first thought was watching that game was like, hey, I love Shorty and all that.
Who's shorter?
James Daniel, move your ass back to guard. Cody Parkey, get your ass back to center.
Cody White.
Parkey?
I mean, Cody, thank you. Cody White. We'll get to Parkey later.
Yeah.
But the fact that the breach, and we've seen that one coming down the middle. I've seen reports, and of course, people have asked, should Cal Long be benched?
How about Charles Leno getting a flag every game all the time?
He had last year 2, and he leads the league with 5, I believe.
Wow, 5 doesn't seem enough.
5 in 5 games. He leads the league in 5. I was reading a report on it, and most people consider it the second one. He may not have done the second one, but I'm with you. And especially the thing is, to be honest with you, with Charles Leno, none of us really cared for him that much.
I know I didn't.
Yeah, so I mean, he was a guy that was like, I hate to say it, that was kind of forced upon us. And then because there's a scarcity rather of left tackles, the Bears kept him. I mean, we weren't big Massey guys when Massey started playing here. First, we liked Massey because he was Cal Long's teammate back at Oregon.
Right.
But as far as what we're getting with this offensive line, they're not protecting the quarterback. They're damn sure going with D's point. They're not helping the run game whatsoever.
Not at all. One thing I was really excited about going into the season with the Bears was going to be the potential of a better run game. Now, Nagy already doesn't like the run game per se. He likes to use everybody in the passing game. And Cohen and Montgomery can definitely do that, right? Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, the one catch that Montgomery had,
Yeah,
that was great. I thought it was a wide receiver. I thought it was Miller for a second.
that
Like,
was-
I'm
that
like,
was
oh man, that was Montgomery.
That
you
was
know,
dope.
that was nice. That was nice
For a
But
rookie.
For a rookie,
Running
too.
back.
Got up there and took the ball, and that was a great catch, right? But the simple fact of how we are, as Ken said, simpatico on this, no holes, none whatsoever for Montgomery to get out and do his thing, because the first couple of games, even in the preseason a little bit, you saw the signs and you saw the flashes there. It's like, all right, this kid might have it.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Outside of no holes, and I want you to get back to that, even when there was a chance where he got to the second level, there was no offensive lineman in the second level.
Right.
That was another thing you saw.
They're too busy holding at the first level.
Yeah. I mean, that it was very disheartening to see the offensive line play as Ken and Ryan definitely talked about. But the run game is something that you definitely need. I tweeted this out. Simple football wins. And I was not tweeting in spite of what the Bears were doing, but actually in the praise of what the Raiders were doing. They ran the ball right down their throat. And that let them dictate the flow of the game. Did they make mistakes? Yes, they did. But that let them dictate the flow of the game. Listen, you don't have to go super pass in the league. You don't need that. Keep it simple. And right now, the Bears cannot keep it simple.
But give them props. They didn't abandon the run.
They did.
They just couldn't.
But they can't do it.
Yeah, but you know what? In the past, they would have abandoned the run.
But you know why I think they had to do that is because they understand who's under center.
But I would say
That
the same.
way-
I would
that
say
one-
the same thing applies if the other guy was under center.
Yeah, but
in Trubisky, you should never, especially in a close game, you should never abandon the run because what you lead yourself to do in a lot of cases is more mistakes, especially if we're talking about not a great quarterback behind center.
But when you have a quarterback who is more mobile, who is more athletic, who has a stronger arm, I think it kind of gives Nagy maybe a little false hope. This is my personal opinion. Gives him a little false hope on what he can do. And then he knows Daniel is limited, so he has to go.
But he's a passer though. Like out of the two, out of the two, he's a better passer, especially in this offense.
I think he's just limited in other facets.
I'm not. Hey,
it probably says like we need to run the ball. That's my personal opinion.
I've said this to anybody that thought that Daniels was the answer. Both of these guys are stopgaps. Him and Mr. Trubisky. To me, neither is the answer. And I brought up last week the Giants game. As far as when tape got out, people start to know what they need to do against Daniels and how they started to play him. And the thing, though, to me, which I have to give props, and I'm not taking away from you saying that there's not some foolhardy part to Mitch Trubisky and what they try to do, but to me, there shouldn't be because he's not good enough for that.
I agree with
But
you.
with Daniels, even with his game plan, thank you, Daniel. They didn't abandon the run, which even though for me it kept them in the game because with both of these quarterbacks, if you just open it up and let them throw, they're gonna throw picks. And I know that Mitchell Trubisky, as far as his interception numbers aren't crazy, but even let's remember, and we've talked about this, how they put the governor on his butt when he came back last year and didn't open up the offense as much as it was prior to his injury. So that was my biggest part. I'm with you as far as they should run better, and the offensive line did not do their part.
It's just a play. Yeah.
They didn't do their part in the run game, but I did like the fact that they didn't abandon the run, which is something that Matt Nagy has done in the past. Cody Parkey returning to the NFL. Titans reportedly set to sign the ex-Bears kicker. 9 months after the double doink, former Bears kicker Cody Parkey is set to return to the NFL, according to the NFL Network. The Titans were flying Parkey into Nashville on Monday with plans to sign him Tuesday. First of all, I don't think Cody Parkey deserves to have people pay for his flights. I think if he wants this job, he needs to spend that damn money himself.
They got the bread.
We doing you a solid. Nah, we ain't got that type of bread for him.
Oh, they do.
You want this job, loser? Listen, to be honest with
Damn,
you.
you call a man a loser?
Oh, facts. Because I didn't like that Good Morning America, I'm going to get out of this contract maneuver. That was a pure, I'm getting out of this city. Listen, shout out to his agent. And I know that was probably already, that interview was maybe set up. I can't remember the details now because I know a lot of people want to interview him right after that. But that was clear. It was going bad all year here for him. Mm-hmm. And he made sure, man, I'm going to keep this bread that they signed me to. They're going to cut me because I'm going to do something I know they're not happy with. And he went straight ahead and did a shot. Look, shout out to him for getting another job. I'm never hating on another man getting his money.
Especially on the Bible Belt. You think that would be a priority for him?
Memphis? Or Nashville? No, what are you?
Nashville's on the Bible Belt.
Yeah, definitely.
Tennessee.
I guess so.
Definitely, bro.
Hey, get ready to beep this. Parkey.
Alrighty.
That's all I got to say.
Dan Davis' show.
Off the top.
Not the flip.
That's all I got to say.
All right. Richard Sherman says Baker Mayfield snubbed him. A video cast doubt. San Francisco 49ers defensive back Richard Sherman says the Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield stubbed him during the pregame handshake. The video obtained by ESPN appears to show something different. Richard Sherman, when we started this off, when we first saw this, he was talking about the fact that he was disrespected and that when Baker didn't shake his hand, it was some college Bush League stuff, and that he didn't show the type of respect that most players do. He mentioned Pat Mahomes and said Pat Mahomes wouldn't do anything like that. But video later came out that today, show Baker Mayfield did shake his hand. I think Richard Sherman went on to say something to the fact of it wasn't the same energy, basically.
I thought he said we still shove it up his you-know-what.
He did say that.
I actually have the tweet right now from Richard Sherman. He says, so you don't see any difference in the way I shake everyone else's hand and the guy who stands back with a petty shake was BS and I took offense to it, then turn and runs off. it's not that big of a deal. So basically, say they get him a weak handshake.
Yeah, if it wasn't that big of a deal, why did you bring it up in the first place?
Richard, come on, Richard. This
Got him another
This is
pick.
kind of petty, Richard.
It was, but
It was. That's kind of his thing.
That's what I'm about to say.
Yeah,
It
kind of
fuels-
is.
It feeds him a little
fuels
bit.
him. It fuels him.
It fuels him.
You
It
mad,
does.
bro?
Yeah, it's pretty petty, but
Man,
you know. But people don't like Baker though.
He's damn near killed Michael Crabtree's career.
Oh yeah,
He damn near like Crabtree
just got
may
cut
have been
recently.
straight after that.
he got cut recently.
He got
didn't
cut twice.
this season.
Yes,
right?
from Baltimore and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
They watched the game film against Richard
That's
Sherman.
what they keep bringing that up. They keep showing, man, don't you
Let's
ever.
prepare for the 49ers. Oh, man, we got to cut Michael Crabtree.
Tell him, let's bring his book in here. Bring his playbook in here.
49ers balling out.
They are, man, 4-0. I just don't know if that's smoke and mirrors, but
Don't worry, we'll get to it later.
Smoking mirrors, bro.
We'll get to it.
Huh? What?
What's the real?
Yeah. We got to get into that on Around the League later
You
on.
ain't got to bring that
They
up.
put more gray in your beard.
They did.
Believing in that BS. All right. Penn State football coach James Franklin defends Jonathan Sutherland after DB gets a letter criticizing his dreadlocks. Jonathan Sutherland, this is the quote, is one of the most respected players in our program. Franklin said in defense of the player at his weekly conference. For anybody that doesn't know the letter, in the letter written by Jonestown, Pennsylvania resident David Peterson, who signed his name, props to that. Sutherland's hair and appearance and demeanor are criticized. Peterson said in the letter that he and his wife missed the clean-cut young men and women from those days. Watching the Idaho game on TV, we couldn't help but notice your, awful hair. Surely there must be mirrors in the locker room. Don't you have parents or a girlfriend who've told you the shoulder-length dreadlocks look disgusting and are certainly not attractive?
I like the Idaho mention.
Yeah.
Kind of all you need to know.
Letter well written to not be offensive, but was very offensive.
It's offensive as hell.
Oh, but I don't think he was trying to be I don't think he was trying to be offensive. I think this is one of those privileged, ignorant moments where you don't realize that
You don't realize what you're saying?
people, you don't realize that you and American culture looks at things through a Eurocentric lens. So another culture's hairstyles to you are automatically ugly because, and not to say he may not feel like he may shoulder length straight blonde hair may not be attracted to it, but I bet you it wouldn't be as jarring as dreadlocks. And I have to say this, and it's not a knock on. He got some long ass dreadlocks, like them bad boys is about to his stomach.
Okay.
They was
all right.
They was bit natty.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I didn't know this the history
Is it
of
nostalgia, just wanting the
What?
the
Yes.
50s look?
Yeah, definitely is what it is.
Definitely is.
Why can't we just
You
have
wanna-
the
you
white
wanna-
skin?
You know why? Because y'all was raping kids back then, Joe Pond.
I know, right? Somebody just...
What about those days?
Well, number one,
It's that nice man sand.
I didn't know the name. Well, dreadlocks comes from the simple fact that Europeans seeing the locks on the, I don't know, the Africans or Caribbeans, I forget who were, they would say, oh, those are dreadful. So the term right there, dreadlocks, is even it has a negative connotation to it. So that's why I would just promote everybody to say locks. Two,
Oh hell no, dude, we ain't doing that.
no, that's what people call them though. People call them locks.
I call them, but I'm gonna call them dreadlocks too.
I ain't do that.
I think when you was gonna grow them out, they was dreadlocks.
I said locks.
I think you was doing dreadlocks.
Actually, an update on my hair. I'm just going to keep it shaved from now on.
Oh no, duh.
Yeah, I'm just going to shave it. I'm just going to shave it.
You know, they invented a hat for
You
baldness.
see that
No,
after
no.
the
I'm just gonna shave it. I'll
the
shave it
dreads
off.
didn't
No,
happen.
the
He went to
hats?
the beard,
I already had a beard though.
not the full grown in style.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this hat though? The hat that gives you hair, it sends electrical signals to your brain and it starts
That's
growing.
all right, man. I'm just going to shave. I'm just going with the slick for now on. Just going with the slick. I cut it all off. It's kind of growing back a little bit. Little stubbles on there. I'm just going to get the cream and the razor. I'm just going to shave my hair from now on. It's done.
I'm
done.
You're always giving up.
I'm done.
Don't say that about him.
No, I don't give up. I just know I'm defeated. And Father Time has caught up with me, and I'm defeated. So for now on, it's going to be just a slick head. That's it. Slick.
In the wintertime,
Yeah, man, I'm done. I'm done, man.
that wind whipping off the lake.
That's all right. I got hats.
Lord have mercy.
I got hats. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Also, too, going back to the story. You know what everybody should do? Hopefully, this would be really good if they put the address of this dude. They get the address of this guy,
Dang.
and everybody just send him pictures of famous black people with locks.
That's not a bad one.
Just send them pictures. Like
You know that wouldn't happen.
Whoopi.
Yeah, somebody's gonna do something to his
You know what I'm
house.
saying? Bob Marley. Just send him a whole bunch of just pictures with just black folk.
like dreadlocks?
How about this? Hey, about this? Even this will really throw him off. A white person with some locks. Oh, that might really throw him into a tizzy.
Well, he might like that because it's cultural appropriation.
He'd be like, I didn't know they came somewhere.
Right back.
Somebody
I
show
didn't
me.
know y'all did this.
Oh my!
Oh, it's all right then.
You should do it like Steve.
Boy, that looks good with that white skin.
it goes well with this pale skin.
Yeah, this is very racist. That guy knew what he was doing.
All right.
You just don't say that.
Closing out the off the top. Kevin Durant says the Knicks can't rely on past success. Not as cool with young players, he says. This is the quote he was on with Ebro in the morning. I think a lot in New York. I think a lot of fans look at the Knicks as a brand and expect these younger players in their lifetime don't remember the Knicks being good, Durant said Tuesday in an in-studio interview, Hot 97 in New York. I've seen the Knicks in the finals, but kids coming up after me didn't see that. So the whole brand of the Knicks is not as cool. And let's just say Golden State Warriors or the Lakers or the Nets now, he says. Did y'all see the Twitter exchange with people going back at him?
Oh.
Man, New York
Go back
was
to
talking
who?
about they'll beat his ass in the street.
Oh man, whatever.
But Durant was so funny. He was like, when are you ever gonna get the chance to do that or whatever? Right? He was like, dude,
that's a good one.
And he was like, some of you mad because I'm living in your head. And like Durant was going back at them.
Oh, Durant is great on
and
Twitter.
they was trying to come at him like, man, don't Knicks fans gonna be all in the stands. And he's like, I guess, but I think there'll be a decent amount of he was trolling them very well. His reply trolls were very good.
I watched the interview this morning. Laura Stiles, one of the co-hosts with Ebro and Rosenberg, basically asked him like, so what is the whole, you know what I'm saying, people have a kind of No, I think Rosenberg asked a question. She did ask about social media. And he was like, I love it. He said, it's a part of the game. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of the culture. It's a part of the NBA culture. It has really changed. But he said, but I love social media. I didn't see the comments. He was kind of going back and forth with people. So that's pretty good. But the interview itself was good. But he definitely was like, and it's a valid point. The Knicks haven't been good for about
Ever.
Well, the point
I'm
is,
talking about the height of what he's talking about. That might have been like 20 years ago.
Think about it. If you
25 years ago.
you didn't see Knicks Bulls, so if Michael Jordan's his height was before your time, then you didn't see great
You
Knicks.
didn't see great Knicks.
Like very good Knicks.
When did they go
You
to the
didn't see-
finals?
Yeah, but even
They went 98. They went the year after
that's-
the Bulls. After the Bulls, they lost.
No, they went to at the strike shorter season.
Let me ask you guys
That's what I
something.
just said. 99. The year after the Bulls.
Yeah, 99, 2000.
Let me ask you guys something. Does anyone even care about that Knicks? Is it kind of like the Rockets now, how they always lose to the Warriors, and we're going to look back and be like, who cares about that Rockets team? Even though they were really good, they really didn't do anything.
No, that Knicks
Is it
team.
kinda like
Listen,
that?
did you see?
Well, I don't know.
Did you see the Morris twin hit Anderson in the head with the ball?
He smacked him, gave him a pumpkin.
Oh,
Boom,
he
get off me.
doinked them, and he was basically like,
That was kind of funny.
"Us Knicks ain't taking that ish." And I actually retweeted it out because I was like, because their things is they're going to be the '90s Knicks, and I was like, Adam Silver may as well suspend them now, but I'm here for all of that.
Yeah.
So the thing is this, if you look at how the bad boys are viewed in a way, the Knicks are a continuation of that.
Basically.
And it was
then it
in
kind of
New
seeped
York.
down to Miami for a little.
Exactly, because of Pat Riley.
Pat Riley.
So the Knicks, so it's a kind of a mindset of old NBA. So that's the thing with like the 90s Knicks, because it was like kind of like we may not be as finesse.
They had great teams.
They had very good teams. The problem with the 90s
just
Knicks,
ran to the Bulls.
They should have.
I mean, they also lost to Reggie, though.
But they should have knocked. The thing is, they never gave Patrick Ewing a true second all-star.
Right.
Like, Stark should have been the third best player on that team.
Right.
He shouldn't have been the second best player.
And
on
Allen
that team.
Houston and Latrell came
That was
way
at the
too
end.
late.
Yeah,
That was at the
Patrick
end,
Ewing was done.
He was
Yeah.
done then.
Yeah, so I mean,
That year though, Latrell Sprewell, Houston, Johnson. Who else was on those teams?
was Kurt Thomas on that team?
Kurt Thomas might have been on that team. They went to the finals, but they played the Spurs, and that was the start of the dynasty of the San Antonio.
They had
Spurs.
Charlie Ward,
You
too.
said Johnson. They had what's the name from Syracuse?
Charlie Ward might have been on that team too.
What's the
yeah.
name from Syracuse? Who? What's the name that played for Syracuse? A small forward I used to like when he was.
Derek Coleman.
No, he was a power forward.
Anthony Mason?
No.
Rest in peace, Anthony Mason.
Yeah, the real.
I don't think Anthony Mason was on that team. They went to the finals.
you said
In
Johnson.
99?
I don't think so. I don't know.
They
if he
might
was
not
on-
have.
I don't think
He
he,
might
was on
not
that
have.
team.
He may have been in Charlotte then, because he left. He got a free agent deal to go to
Yeah,
Charlotte.
he left. I don't think he was on that team. But but to your question about when we look at Houston the same way those Knicks, I mean, Possibly, I guess.
Like, because if let's say you were young and you saw the Bulls Knicks, it's not like you're like, man, I really respect those Knicks and the way they competed against the Bulls. I really like that franchise. Everybody was like, man, it sucks to like New York.
Yeah, they just ran up against the wrong. They was just in the wrong time. And to create,
I went to Canada. You know how many people you say you're from Chicago? Michael Jordan, the Bulls. That's their first thing.
It still resonates. But that, and somebody actually on Twitter said the same thing. He's like, Kevin Durant said, like what Kevin Durant said about the Knicks can be said about the Bulls. And I'm like, nah, not necessarily, because you still had a lot of these young kids grew up with Derrick Rose, and Derrick Rose had a good 5-year run here in Chicago. You know, and he's still beloved. A
lot of people love
beloved, but you still had Joakim Noah. So they had another run.
They definitely.
Unfortunately, they ran into LeBron James. That was the issue. You know, saying they kind of
That's a big of an issue.
It's a big of an issue. It's a pretty big issue. So they ran into the same thing that we ran. I mean, the Knicks ran to back when the Bulls were here with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and all those guys. So that part I won't necessarily agree with. The Bulls still have somewhat of a relevance.
Katie's right. That franchise is old, and who cares?
Yeah. I mean, they could be good again. They could possibly be good again, because all you need is
when they
talent.
get a new owner.
You know what? Honestly, I disagree with that. I think everything starts with the draft. If you have a good GM and a draft picks, and
When's the last time they've had a good draft?
Lucky, and you can get lucky. Because listen, we just said it right here about Jerry Reinsdorf.
John Wallace was the player.
Okay. We just said it right here with Jerry Reinsdorf. Talking about, I don't know if we got into it, but you know.
No, we haven't gotten to the Reinsdorf. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to it later. But Jerry Reinsdorf, a lot of people nag him, talking about, oh man, you know what? You know what I'm saying? You're cheap, you didn't do this, you don't care about it, whatever like that. Listen, they had a comparable GM and they got lucky in the draft. That can change a franchise.
That was before Reinsdorf on the team, bro.
Well,
no,
Michael
that's
Jordan,
before Cross got here.
Yeah.
Reinsdorf on the team, Cross wasn't here.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, though, you have a comparable GM, a smart GM, you get a coach, and you have draft picks.
It also
that
helps
turn
you
into
buy
something.
a franchise with Michael Jordan in it.
Yeah, but you only got it for like $20 million in, which is a lot of money, granted.
Yeah, but he started his franchise with Michael Jordan, and he hasn't done anything since.
Yeah, true. But like I said, though, but the Bulls.
Think about how many good owners and how many bad owners there are.
Mark Cuban, I believe, is a good owner, and he only has one championship.
Yeah, well, look at the Lakers. They had a good owner, and now they have a bad owner, and they haven't.
Yeah, but think about that though. They're in SoCal, and everybody wants to go to SoCal. That's the difference.
We weren't saying that before this past off season. Why doesn't anybody want to go to LA anymore?
Well, that's because of it was because of the owner, and nobody wouldn't want to
play with Kobe.
Nobody wanted to play with Kobe.
Basically,
they couldn't pay anybody else. They was paying Kobe.
Not old Kobe.
Yeah.
So nobody. Why are you gonna go to a team that you know can't win, and the player's gonna take more shots than you, and you have to deal with his BS?
Even though it was kind of like, okay, let's wait until the old man Kobe gets out of there. It's gonna open it up, and all it took was LeBron James. Like, yeah, I go to LA, and they're like, man, I want to go to LA. There's very few markets that have that. But if you have a smart GM, a good coach, a damn great coach, and good draft picks, you can turn your season around. All right, that was our first off the top. Next up, we're going to break down this Bears-Raiders game. Oh, man, that was sad.
Off top.
Oh, off the top.
That's going to be the argument.
D and Davis Show.
Hey, this is Rich Campbell from the Chicago Tribune, and you're listening to the D and Davis Show.
D and Davis Show. All right, we are back. We got to talk about those Bears.
Hey, listen, I don't have a disco in here. I don't have a disco. Well, let's all start dancing. Hey, say this, man. I'm 56 years old. That's the most fun I've ever had tonight, man. I am so proud of you. You have no idea. I mean, we've been through a roller coaster already, but what you proved today is one thing. You can beat anybody, anywhere, on any time zone. You got we're going to have a great flight home. We have some injuries. I want everybody to have a great bye week. You have the whole week off.
Go all the way over to London. And shout out to all the folks from Chicago that went over there, too. Had a very, very good showing.
Yeah, shout out to Shaquille.
To go watch that.
JP was over there. We had Fia was over there.
World tour.
Yeah, I mean, she just out there just living her best life.
For her.
Yeah. Quite a few. Jason Goff, he was over there. Sarah Spain was over there. A lot of people from Chicago media was over there having a good time. So it was good. And if from the sounds of it, if you were watching the game, it sounded like a Chicago Bears home game, although it was a Raiders home game.
Who is traveling to London to go see the Raiders?
Hey man, you got some
And that's all
diehard
the
Raiders
way on
fans.
the other side of the country.
You got some hardcore Raiders fans, man.
Ain't that hardcore?
And you guys couldn't find sitters.
especially with
Otherwise, you
their
would have been
team
there, right?
leaving.
Who had a sitter?
I was saying, you guys,
I would have took my
you
kids.
couldn't get your sitters. That's why you didn't go to
I
London
would've took my kids
with all your media passes.
I mean, I think we definitely would have had some good connections out there to definitely do some stuff. But that's like a $4,000 trip, 3 to 4 stacks, easily. My cousin,
You may be able to get it for 25.
maybe 25.
About 20, because you got to think.
No, you know
let's just
what?
say if the flight's $1,000. Let's just say if the flight's $1,000.
No,
and
actually,
you only
my
gotta
buddy
stay
said he saw a flight for 600.
there- Okay, so because you only got to stay there for a day, and you may stay there the weekend.
Well, you probably gonna do the weekend. You got.
So
you
that's
gotta
another.
do the
Let's say
weekend.
that's another $1,000 there
Yeah,
without food.
16.
Then let's just say you spend.
about 2 stacks.
Yeah, and then you spend about 300 there.
Yeah.
This is better talk than the Bears game.
Oh, good. man.
Facts.
Listen, one of my dream, I ain't gonna say dream, but one of my life goals
To see the Bears in London?
No, they can keep that.
The Browns.
Taking the Browns. No, one of my life goals is to get over to London. I really want to go to London. I think this would have been a great trip to do it, but just couldn't.
Are you a
pull it
big
off.
Indian fan? Indian food fan?
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Don't mind it. That's their national dish.
Really?
Yeah, tiki masala.
didn't know
Masala.
that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's
I
why,
was
and that's why they enacted Brexit. You laughing? We are tired of this.
I was gonna go for the fish and chips.
No, it's tikka masala.
Apparently they've
tea,
gone
I
way
love
down on fish and chips, especially in
Really?
downtown London. You gotta go.
That's like deep dish is really Chicago's dish.
I just want some fish and chips. Give me some tea. I'm a tea guy. Give me all the blends of different teas over there. Little biscuit. I live it up.
No
Yeah,
tiki masala,
foods,
huh?
The gastro scene has improved over the last 15 years because really the UK in general really isn't known for its food. But
Yeah,
even
I'm not going over there for the
Ireland
food.
and all those places, the gastro scene has really improved.
Yeah, I'm going over there.
But I don't know if London.
I'm going to kick it.
I don't know if London is where I want to. I remember after his auntie came to visit, they went to London 15 years ago, and she was like, "Yeah, we want to go back." And I was like, "Y'all went." Her 2 kids in the afternoon went. She had to go for work. I don't know, like it just doesn't seem like it's a ton of stuff really to do there.
Oh man, I think it probably is.
It's so many other like I would put Paris probably over there, but I would put like Italy and Greece.
Really?
If I'm talking about Europe, I would put them over London.
I'm with you.
Like because I just feel like it's more. I can experience a way of life in a different way.
You think it's too common for us?
Yes, I think it's outside of the accent. I think it's closer to how we live in the metropolis
It is.
here.
It probably is.
So that's why it wouldn't stand out to me. But anyway, getting back to the Bears game.
Yes,
I wanted to run
they
down
lost
some
the
numbers
game.
real quick.
Yeah, they lost the game 24-21.
All right, points per play. The Bears are 28th with 17.4. Yards per play. The Bears are 30th with 4.5. Passer rating. They're at 86.3, which is 24th. Yards per attempt, 5.2, which is 30th. This is all offensive numbers. Rushing yards per game, 80.6, which is 26th. Yards per rush, 3.4, which is 29th.
Sucks.
Getting to where we opened up in the first quarter, Bears defense didn't have a terrific game. One thing, outside of definitely Jacobs was running and the other backup
Looking good.
running well, but
And I brought
in the
that
first,
up
they
last
was
week,
playing,
too.
but they were playing him well initially. They stopped him a lot. He had some runs, but they stopped him a lot. The thing too, man, Chucky, he was West Coasting the hell. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of passes that are basically runs. David Carr, who will probably be a Bear, they're making deals with us now.
Phillip Rivers. You got to put it in the universe.
I said the Derek Carr thing.
He's not leaving. You did.
Phillip Rivers.
He's not leaving.
Phillip Rivers.
He just had another kid.
It's all right. Bring him here.
But the fact that the
He
line,
is taking a bus from San Diego to LA, and he's going to move across the country.
and take a bus to Chicago.
Nope.
He's taking a bus so he can get back and forth and see his family and everything.
The Raiders rushed for 169 yards and had 2 touchdown drives of 90 or more yards, and one of them was in the fourth quarter towards the end of the game. Mm-hmm. Nagy is searching for answers in the running game. This is from the Tribune. He believes he has identified a key to the ongoing struggles. Naturally, he doesn't want to identify it. I think this is Brad Biggs, and tip off the future opponents to such as the Saints, Chargers, the Eagles, Lions, or Rams on the schedule that is about to turn. In this article, they talked about there was going to be a lot of self-evaluation and figuring out what were some of the tendencies that hasn't been necessarily working out, and also the groups that they've been implementing and how they haven't necessarily been working out. This is a bye week for the Bears. They were 3-2 last year at this time after 5 games. But still, the Bears should be 4-1 is what they really should be.
They should be.
They should have beaten the Raiders. They actually almost came back and won this game.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing with the Bears goes into Ryan Pace is setting himself up for failure. The fact that you didn't insulate your quarterback situation. I know most teams don't carry 3 or don't suit up 3, and chances are Chase McDaniels wouldn't make it to a practice team. But the fact that you didn't put a credible backup behind Mitch, if you're going to do this all Mitch thing during this championship window with this defense,
What do you think Daniel is, though?
he's not a credible backup, dude. He's like a credible backup isn't a guy that's been behind a guy that doesn't never get to play. Or even looking at it like this. What did the team that he played most for, the Saints, what did they do about their backup situation in years past? They went out and got a guy that was a real starter who had just gotten hurt.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater.
And actually, think about this. They didn't even just go get him. They saw how well he was playing for the Jets in preseason and was like, bring that over here. They insulated themselves knowing, you know what, Drew Brees is old. What?
But is that a knock on Nagy or is that a knock on Pace?
I just said this is a Pace thing.
Okay.
I just said this is a failure of Ryan Pace.
Okay.
No, this is and even if Ryan Pace being the head has to pressure Nagy that we need this because we only have so many bites at the apple. And you sat here, dog, I'm not dissing Chase Daniels. I'm not saying you don't need him in the quarterback room. All right. That's not what I'm saying. But you don't need him to be the guy that's supposed to play significant games after Mitchell Trubisky. Now, I know you don't want to put pressure on this Mitchell Trubisky, but for the rest of this team, you should have put some pressure on Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he hasn't deserve the amount of I want to say praise and the fact of how comfortable his situation is when it comes to the starting position with the Bears. But that goes to the point of, we said this 1,000 times. Hey, listen, they traded up for him. They're going to try to make him into the guy as long as they think he is the guy, or they're going to try to keep selling this to the fans. Like, listen, this is the dude. We believe in him. We believe in him. We have a quarterback problem in Chicago.
Facts.
We have a quarterback
It's called
problem.
Deshaun Watson's in Houston.
Basically. Not even looking at Patrick Mahomes.
Can't look at Patrick Mahomes because nobody knew he could do
Nobody
that.
saw that coming.
And we didn't have a guy in John Fox that could fix it.
Exactly. Nobody saw that coming.
But Deshaun Watson?
And he's on here now giving you basically play-by-play breakdown of how plays are going, and just like, whoa, now he's breaking it from the standpoint of just seeing it and being able to decipher it so the fans and media can understand. That's making you look even bad. I mean, making you look even worse right now. But it's definitely a quarterback problem here in Chicago, and they got to figure out what they're going to do.
He will own Chicago. I know we said this last week.
Who, Deshaun Watson? Oh my God.
It would be like Derrick Rose back.
You know what? Somebody, and credit to this person, and also credit to David Kaplan, ESPN Chicago, for not just jumping off of it. A few weeks ago, I think I was on my way to the dentist, and I was riding in the car, and somebody asked, like, hey, are we going to acknowledge the racial component of why
Facts.
they signed and went after Mitchell Trubisky, somebody who nobody really knew who he was. And
I can't say people did know.
Not to the masses of football fans.
Well, people that were scouting football.
Knew who Deshaun Watson.
People that were scouting football. Because remember, I did the Mitch scouting early. People that were scouting football knew he was in that realm, and that due to the fact that Watson wasn't solidified as far as people worrying about his body, because at this point Patrick Mahomes was still not.
You just didn't know.
Yeah, people
you knew
didn't
he had
think,
the skills.
People didn't think someone could figure Patrick Mahomes out. Right. And also credit to Patrick Mahomes. People didn't think Patrick Mahomes could figure it out. Right. Patrick Mahomes is a case in what we see in basketball where some people are better suited for the pros than they are for college. Yeah. But the people did know about Mitch. But still, I think about that. I wonder if, and it's not, man, Ryan Pace is a racist, but I think we don't still acknowledge things that go on in our subconscious, and that in your subconscious, it hasn't been layman's terms thought of as black quarterbacks are intelligent, one. All right. And also that black quarterbacks, even though Mr. Trubisky is athletic, may do it more off of athleticism than they do off of IQ. And how long is that going to last? And if it is going to work. So I think that's kind of the point you're alluding to.
Right. It's kind of like, okay, you saw this, even more just kind of basic. You saw what this dude did in college.
Against Alabama.
He sit against Alabama. Basically, who was it? This coach Dabo Michael Jordan?
So he's Michael Jordan.
Basically Michael Jordan football
he's
field.
He's not Michael Jordan, but it ain't crazy. When you see him play,
Right.
you get more than what Dabo was meaning.
Exactly. And you had that sitting there, and they decided to go to a guy who had just only played, 13 games in college. Yes, I think he was maybe trying to be a little bit, I'm going to find the diamond.
Sleuthing.
And sleuthing, and I'm like, I'm going to find a dude that nobody's talking about. I'm going to go up and get him, and everybody going like, damn, you got him. Oh, my God, you so smart. Nah, dude. As I said before, running the ball is simple. Finding the guy, seeing the guy who did it on the biggest stage against the biggest team and won, that's very simple, and that's who you draft. So beyond that point, I think it's something that we had to talk about, and a lot of people I think don't want to acknowledge that. But there's an issue, and they need to figure it out. Don't pay this kid his money. Mm-mm. That money, we're talking about a contract, because he's going to be looking for a contract after what? After next season?
You better off finish paying all these guys who are about to come up.
Yes.
And going and drafting one of these kids.
Drafting somebody?
It will keep you at a level. It will keep you in this window, and maybe you can get a vet that can come in here and stabilize it for a sec. But you will make a drastic mistake.
But you won't. But this thing though, Ken, you won't have that high of a pick because the team is too good.
You can move up. I mean, because the thing about this,
trade again, make more trade.
Well, you won't have a first round pick.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you. And again, we may not want Nagy to be. I'm not Nagy. Pace to be the guy to make this decision. But there are going to be guys. There are guys that are the third quarterback in this upcoming draft that people are high on. Now, it may not be next year. I mean, it may not be this year coming up. But what about Josh Fields coming out of Ohio State? Like, there are a few. Like, when is Fromm going to be up? Because you got Trevor this year. You got, what about the Malloy kid down there at LSU? Like, it's
this year.
It's a lot of cats. For real, if you're looking at now college football, it's some cats that, dog, you don't have to
They might not go past the first round.
Then I was going to say this, though. Looking at the Bears right now, who's to say they're going to be picking at the very bottom of the first round?
Well, they don't have a first round pick.
Facts. They got to make that deal.
They have 2 second round picks.
We trade next year's.
So if you were, and everybody out there listening, hey, you can also hit us up on Twitter. Please hit us up on Twitter at D and Davis Show. Hit us up on Facebook.com hit us up on Facebook for Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. Ken, let me ask you this question then. So if you were Pace, you're looking at quarterbacks coming out this upcoming draft
And next year.
So if that's the case, then you're done.
Don't
with
you
Mitch.
think that was always the plan? I feel like we're
They were talking about they was gonna be drafting all the time. They didn't draft anybody. They didn't draft anybody.
What you want me to say?
Yeah.
He said
We're
that
gonna be drafting a quarterback every year.
every year, and of course we knew that wouldn't be probably in the top 3 rounds. But you're saying that you're going to be fishing for Tom Brady in the latter rounds if you have a decent quarterback, is what you're basically saying. Look, kind of what you see with the Patriots and what we grew up seeing the Green Bay Packers do. You know, like stuff like that. And he didn't do that. He hasn't lived up to that. Listen, it's just no reason for us to double down. I think Pace has enough equity built up that Mitch not working out won't get him fired. Signing Mitch, though, will, because we're going to go through that period.
Ass fired.
Yeah, we're going to go through that period of waiting till there's less money on Mitch's contract to get from up under his contract. On top of that, looking at all the players that we couldn't keep. But look, let's extrapolate this. When's Bilal Nichols going to get his money? We were just talking
3 years.
We were just talking, but you can start getting to these guys earlier. We were just talking.
Eddie Jackson's a big one.
We were just talking about Roy Robertson Harris.
Yeah,
and
he's one.
They may not be able to sign him after this season.
Allen Robinson's another one.
Yeah, look, you can start to set this team up. You can be a better version of what Minnesota was, because I'll say this. You're not Minnesota from 2 years ago. because Case Keenum was heating the league up that year.
He was an MVP talk.
You don't have that. So you're not even, but what you do have is a better supporting cast, because this is before, that was Diggs and Thielen's kind of coming out party or whatever, but a better cast around them that you can hold on to and supplement the quarterbacks that you want to use, one to grow with, one that right now you deem could just be, listen, to be honest, and I know it's not sexy, the Bears would be pretty damn good with a game manager that has a decent deep ball on them.
Yeah, if you had Gardner Minshew, they'd look pretty good.
You know I love that.
No, I'm being serious when I say that.
And it's just, I know we're beating a dead horse because we just had this game and where we're going back and see the quarterback, and people could sit there and talk about what the defense did. Defense is not going to be impeccable in this
They can't
offense in NFL. Defense is not going to be impeccable every week. And so you're going to get games like that, but you would hope it wouldn't become from a lesser team like the Raiders.
But, okay, hold on now. To go to the Raiders. I think I said this last week. Are people overlooking the Raiders?
Define overlook.
They're better than what people probably think. Now, I did a Bears pod with Cal Means, editorial director of WeAreRegalRadio.com, and we both was kind of saying this. I think, no, the question was, who has more juice or who has more to prove or play for in this game? I said the Raiders, because from the team's aspect of it, people still look at them. Man, listen, y'all the Raiders. Y'all had AB. That was a trash show. Gruden don't know what he doing. He behind the times. And y'all this and y'all that. They have more of a rally cry of trying to make this happen and make this work for them. That offensive line looks pretty damn good.
It's always no. It always
With Gruden?
It had been
Right.
but the last couple years, people pointed out during the Colin Kaepernick situation that perhaps David Carr had said something to his offensive lineman, but their offensive line was compatible to the Dallas offensive line.
So
they
you had
had
that.
one of the best top 3 or 4 offensive line.
But now
in the
you have
NFL.
Jacobs. You just said Chucky
Roll
West
Tide.
Coast it
He
all.
West Coasted that bad.
West Coast it up.
New
And
West Coast,
and
not old West Coast. New
And
West
they did
Coast.
this with some of their top receivers now.
2 of their top receivers are out.
So they might be a little bit better than what people. I'm not saying they're
you
going to
know
win
what?
the division.
The times have not passed John Gruden. So at least that part is fake.
Yeah.
The times hasn't passed Gruden.
He's able to do something with some talent.
He straightened Carr out.
Yeah.
He
I
straightened
want
Carr.
you to do this.
Yeah,
he looks
straightened-
good. They're 3-2.
Yeah. In a division that
I'm
you
not
think.
saying that they're going to win a division. I don't think they're nowhere near the talent of
And
KC.
that's without-
they're
and-
not, but they're better than what people
Are
think.
they a
that's-
wild card contender?
That's without planning your whole offense around AB.
Yeah. Good point.
No, they're not a wild card contender. They won't be.
I definitely don't think they will.
No, they won't be.
Are they the second best team in their own division?
Yes.
No, they're not.
I don't think so either.
The Chargers are
You still think the Chargers better?
Yeah, Chargers are better.
Okay. All right.
Because they still don't have what's his name from Florida State back.
Wait, when is he coming back? The safety. You talking about the cornerback?
Yeah, safety.
Oh, Derwin James.
Derwin James. I don't know, but he's a game.
He was out indefinitely, so
Yeah, but they don't have him back. They just got Gordon back to throw in there, even though Eckler's been doing well and Jackson. Jackson was hurt. My man's Mike Williams, man. I damn near want him to retire because he be getting hurt. Speaking of Deshaun Watson, and that team. Yeah. Man, listen, man. Mike Williams. I've loved Mike Williams since he went off on Alabama. Man, he be getting hurt. I was watching that game, and it was like Mike Williams, bruh. And now he had neck injuries at school, and since he's been back when he first got drafted, and it's just one of those things. But still, getting back to the Raiders,
Yeah.
Listen, for them, really good game. Gruden, also to add on to lump on to what you're saying, it was the Khalil Mack game,
Yeah.
and
he didn't. He really didn't show up.
he did Club Dub afterwards. I don't know if we could say Mac didn't show up.
Well, no. I'm saying this is you. I think people went in thinking like, man, he about to go off.
They keying in on him like it's, and that's his old. Like you're just saying, that's his old. That's the old line he used to go up. They know we can't let him get off on this game.
Right.
They got off the bus like stop Mac.
Yeah.
And not to
Stop
say
Mac or
that
run the
everyone
ball.
else doesn't do that, but his former teammates, you're gonna have a bit more oomph as far as going after that guy and trying to prove that you don't need him along with what you.
And
were
you
saying.
have more of a team looking at that besides one guy looking at that. I mean, you had the Bears who actually want to get behind their leader and Khalil Mack. They want to try to make him look good. But you're going against a whole entire team is like, yeah, man, we got something to prove right here.
And he was just saying last year. We forget that. It seems like 2 years because he got him before the season started. But, I mean, he wasn't in camp, but he was their teammate last preseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Now, but the bigger question is, what are the Bears going to do from here? They have a bye this upcoming week. They have to go look in the mirror, try to figure out exactly what they need to do.
Well, did you see the little Brad Biggs report with Alex Bars? They New England wanted to take him off the practice squad, but apparently the Bears ponied up some money and he decided to stay here. So people are kind of wondering, does that mean maybe he gets a shot at coming in, getting some playing time, especially with Kyle Long, Ted Larson injuries?
One, they need to bring Mitch back.
Is this shoulder?
That shatter of Chase Daniel over Mitch, that's done with.
Oh, yeah.
But
we saw it, right? We saw that in the actual game.
Anybody said that to me, I said neither one of them are the end. Like, don't lie to yourself. We've seen this story before. And that's
saw
but,
it
but,
in the game.
at least
But
Mitch is young.
Hold on. I think some people didn't necessarily think that they were the answer, said who was the better option. To me, I don't even think it's a question. It's Mitch.
Yeah, because Mitch. But the thing, you know the problem with that?
Because this is the other thing. Because what you just said, you have to at least figure out what he is. So
that's
you
what I was gonna
gotta
say.
play.
That's the key that I'm getting to. We need to solve this right now because we're
What's
not going to
his
go
ceiling? We know what Chase's
We're
ceiling
not going to
is.
go into next year still talking about what Mitch can do. And if you are, you're going to be lying through your teeth, or you're going to be.
Or you
dead
got
on.
Plan B.
That's what I'm. So that's what I'm saying when I say you got to go to Mitch. But also to your point, one thing though, compared to last year to this year, with the difference between them, last year we had Track Mitch. We haven't seen Track Mitch.
They won't let him.
Is it they won't let him or his hesitance?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Or
sometimes
maybe
there's lanes and he freezes.
Maybe the defense knows it's coming. They remember y'all. They
But I
got a
also
whole. They
think
have
Mitch-
a whole year.
They know
have
Lamar
a whole
Jackson.
year on it.
They know Lamar Jackson's coming too.
But Lamar. I mean, Mitch ain't Lamar though.
But I'm just still saying they know. Listen, they know
Mitch
Russell
is
Wilson.
pretty athletic, though.
The point that we're making is they know running quarterbacks are running, but yet those quarterbacks are still running.
I think maybe this is a detriment that he's doing. I think that's partly Mitch. I think Mitch wants to be a thrower.
That's what I'm
not
saying.
a runner.
It's his hesitance because last year sometimes he would take off too early. All right, so I know it's a growing phase, but this year there are times when Mitch, off the first look, when that pocket's collapsing, if Mitch takes off or in a waggle, if Mitch took off, he's up, he waits, and he lets Contain get back in place. And that's the real problem when you watch him now. On the few times, there hasn't been a whole bunch he could have ran, but there's at least 4 times where you're like, damn, Mitch should have ran right there.
that sound like coaching.
And now
that
you're
sound like
throwing
coaching
in.
to me. That sound like
he
coaching.
can't even run now because he's injured with that labrum. You don't want him running around.
No, because there'll be nothing. It's a shoulder. And
Okay.
even though it's not his throwing shoulder, there'll be nothing to re-injure it.
All right.
Same way he injured it.
So you saying playing?
Running.
Well, no, he's got to play.
It's not even a question. I mean, if he's healthy, hell yeah. I mean, and also, again, that's not his throwing shoulder.
Right.
All right, wrap the hell out of that. Stick it. Let's go, Emmitt Smith. Hit it. All right? Like, no, dude. Like, let's get this.
He's got to go.
Yeah, let's find out because damn near we're facing, and I know this is early and it's dark. We're facing a wasted season right here. That's the truth. When it comes to this defense, we're facing a wasted year if Mitch isn't the guy. And on top of that, compounding that now, the offensive line may be trash. What? So
And he don't got a lot of picks.
what?
All right. So looking at the rest of the season, yeah, the bye coming up this week. Thankfully, they definitely
needed that.
They need a bye right now, right?
And maybe it'll be good for them to just sit on a loss for 2
It is
weeks.
good. Yeah, sometimes you need to get smacked in the mouth. All right, you have the Saints coming into town October 20th.
And I won't say it's impossible Drew Brees plays that game. It probably isn't likely, but all accounts are is he's flying back from this recovery.
I wouldn't even push it because Teddy Bridgewater is fine.
Do you want Drew Brees to play against that defense?
I'm just saying if he says I'm ready and I'm going to go, I think they're going to go with him.
Mac gonna mess that thumb up again.
Probably because he likes to smack.
Yep.
He likes to go for the ball. You have the Chargers coming into town. Then you heading out to Philadelphia. Detroit, not a pushover team this year.
No.
And this is going to be in Chicago. All right. Then you have the Rams. You going out to LA. The Giants, lot of people thought, look at the Giants. The Giants are going to be playing a lot bit tougher now.
Miss me with that, Giants.
Okay, all right. I'm not saying they playing.
Now you're going too far.
No. I'm not.
You had me till we got to the
No,
Giants.
they
not
are
saying-
playing the toughest schedule the rest of the way.
Yes.
Based on win percentage.
So you
I
have
hear it right there.
Yeah. So now you have then you have to go up to Detroit. Then you have Dallas coming here. Then you got to go back up to Green Bay. Or you got to go to Green Bay.
And again,
Yeah,
you
but
got,
a lot
then
of
you got
that
KC,
stuff.
and then you got Minnesota. This is not an easy.
Yeah, but tell me, some injuries happen and suddenly it changes. For me, it's they've got to start getting the identity on the offensive side of the ball, some kind that they can rely on.
This has been a question now, y'all. For legit, probably, if you want to say with the games, a whole entire season. The second half of the season, they start to tail down. They start to tail away. You have what now? 5 games you played this season? That offense has not really been there. So
it hasn't been there at all. It's not really.
It hasn't been
it
there.
had like a game.
Right. So these questions that people just want to magically fix these issues with the offense, that doesn't happen. Especially when you don't have a quarterback who's able to get you out of these situations.
I opened up the season with you with this, and this was our argument.
Yes.
I told you this season was about Matt Nagy, and this is what I meant. His job is to get the best out of the players that Ryan Pace has given him. And he has to figure out through what this offense can be, not what he wants it to be, what this offense can be, how to put it in a perfect situation, and not what his preferences are, what they are capable of. And now to tell us I always said I thought Matt Nagy was great or going to be great. It'll tell us if he is great. Because right now he's not.
No. He and it's terrible that he will come out and say, like, yeah, we're not a power running team. Damn it, you need to become one.
Every team should.
Every
team should waste
big boys up front, fall forward.
and a fullback. He better be he better be the fullback or battering. I don't get why, dog. It kills me that the NFL teams act like 3 yards, 2 yards aren't important. And comparing when we were growing up, it feels like you see a lot more stops than what you used to see. And just to have a battering ram to bash up against that defense, and no one uses that in the way that you could, one, to tire the defense, but also leverage-wise just to get past the defense.
Yes.
Now, I don't get it with not just this
RPO,
team.
something.
I don't get it with most teams on having that guy. And for him to say what you just said, and I said this beginning of the year, when we're talking about Mike Davis, Tariq Cohen, and and David Montgomery, neither one of those guys are guys that you're fearful of if you're at the line and be like, oh, here he come again.
Right.
Like none of them. Oh, not. Will they please stop? Like none of them are that guy. There's, and I know he's a very good player, if not great at times. None of them are Marshawn Lynch. You know what I'm saying? None of those guys are guys that, even if you go back to the guys that the Jaguars used to have with Tolbert and guys, I'm not talking about like the guys. I'm just talking about having a dude that can go do it.
Based on this record right now, I'm seeing possibly 5 more wins. 4 to 5 more
Oh,
wins.
get out of here.
All right.
With your win counting.
All right.
I don't think that's crazy.
All right.
Of course it's not crazy. Anything can happen if you have Mitch not for the rest of the year.
Whoa. My point is even with Mitch. That's
With
my
Mitch.
point. With Mitch, with this offensive line, and this, another thing we're not. But another thing
I don't like all this doom and gloom either, though.
Yeah, that's because you're wearing a Bears cap.
It ain't doing
But no,
I'm telling what I tell you about the Cubs. You better listen to me.
But look, this is the thing too.
Yeah, if I listen to your game picks, I'd be way under 500.
This is one thing we haven't correlated. The fact that the run game hasn't worked well and the offenses hasn't played well, that defense is getting worn out. Go back to the Mile High game.
There you go.
You go to this game. They're on the field too much. Like, in the first half you was watching that game, like, damn, they about to come back out again? So now, because you don't have an offensive identity, you're wearing the defense out when it just comes to fatigue.
And this is coming from you're supposed to have a genius as a head coach with the
I'm
offense.
with D. With that schedule, I don't care if Mitch is there. You may only get 5 wins.
Of course it's possible.
Outside of the Lions, and that's a chance on the Lions and the Giants. They lost to the Giants last year. The Giants may have a better quarterback now than they had last year.
Yeah.
But listen, at least with the Giants, maybe.
Saquon might be back.
I was about to say, going on what you said about Drew Brees, they say, even though I hated seeing him run last week, because I do sit your ass
he was out there running.
down.
Yeah, he was.
All right. But I could see them only winning 5 games. I would hope not. But man, like I said again, this year, something that looked like it definitely can be a great year to be a Bears fan. It's now questionable.
It's the issue about the teams that have to play on the road. That's my question. You got to play Philadelphia on the road. You got to play the Rams on the road. You got to go.
I mean,
to
the Lions
Detroit.
beat the Eagles on the road.
You got to go back to Green Bay. You got to go to Minnesota.
You don't have a Matt Stafford on your team.
But this is what I'm saying. We can obviously they can.
What was the
lose
score?
a bunch.
Can you not just give me a roundabout score for that game?
I think it was 28-21.
That's what I was thinking. And
Something like that.
Right now, we're not even a 20 scoring team like that. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing out.
I get what you guys are saying.
Capable quarterbacking
Things have to change.
But we still see in a lot of these close games what capable quarterbacking really means. And we know that we begin this conversation with, we don't have one.
Yeah. I mean, again, I want to see a little bit more, especially this week coming off the bye week.
You ain't seen enough.
No, not quite yet. To say they're going to be a great offense, no, they're not going to be a great offense. We know that. But can they be better than what they are? Yeah, I think they can be better than what they are.
I think they can be better, but that takes self-reflection.
Yeah.
But it also takes, do you have what you need to get there? Like, dude.
Well, they have talent. Can you use it right?
But this is the thing. No, this is the point. You were talking about skill positions. We don't know when it comes to that line. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
With
But
that line,
we also don't know if they can get better.
But this is what that line may have hit the wall.
Maybe.
Because let's stop with, look, dude, we all never trusted Leno and Massey. The best part of that line was the core. Cal Long doesn't look right. The Cal Long doesn't look right.
I told you should have retired last year.
And Daniels and Cody Whitehair switching positions doesn't look well at this moment. That's what I'm saying.
They might have to switch them back.
Yeah, but they
lot of
said they're
switching.
not. They said they're not. But we never trusted the tackles. So now tackles that weren't trusted, but the best part of your line isn't holding up. So that the key to what you're saying is, can the line get back to where it was last year? We don't know if it can.
But this is the thing.
Yeah,
though.
we don't know.
And let me this last part. And I know that he's been an NFL coordinator or a coach before. Hey, tapes out on Harry Hestad too. Come back from ND.
yeah.
His preferences.
But the one thing how you can fix it though, you run the ball. You get these guys lathered.
Hey.
You just run the ball.
not
Run
if
the
they
ball.
not coming off the line.
I'm just saying, but at least get them into the rhythm of doing it.
Man,
make it into a habit.
Not if-
Make it into a habit.
They're not doing anything well, pass blocking or run blocking.
Yeah, they're not doing
It'd be
anything well
different
on
if they were
offense.
doing one well. You'd be like, man, okay, I know we don't want to. Just let them fall back. Let's pass the ball. They're not doing either well.
The only thing that's working on offense is Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
True.
it. Damn, that's bad.
Taylor Garrett before he was hurt.
That's
this year.
why I just
Before he was hurt.
I can't look at this and just say this is what it's going to be. I think there is going to be a come up a little bit.
No, another problem with what you just said about that with Allen Robinson, we're talking about two quarterbacks who aren't the most accurate quarterbacks too. And the good things that you've seen about Allen Robinson, those are the passes that they are actually accurate with.
He's gone up for a few though.
I'm not, but they've put it there too. Like that pass on the sideline.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
But I'm just saying they're inconsistent.
yeah, of course. I get everything you're saying. I don't disagree with you guys.
right now.
No. I want to try to bring back some balance too, because we're talking now that they're just completely done. Their goose is cooked. That
No
they're a
one's saying
loss.
they're
already.
completely done. We're
Well,
not saying
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't be surprised if there's 5 more wins. Would you be surprised if there's 8 wins on that schedule?
Yeah, I'll probably be surprised.
Okay, so what's the realistic
If this sample size is what
surprise?
we're talking about right now, so I'm taking it in the first 5 games. Yeah, and knowing now what that schedule is moving forward, if they won 8 more games, meaning that they would have 11 wins.
11 wins.
and
That'd be
15
crazy.
See,
then-
like, how many of those teams are they playing? How many of them have good offensive lines, like the Raiders, that they're going to push around our defense? That'd be one of the
Dallas.
first things.
Eagles. Who else did you name?
Rams?
They don't have a good offensive line.
Rams don't.
You said offensive line or defensive
Offensive line.
Offensive line.
Because first of all, you got to neutralize the Bears' defense for them to be completely out
No,
of it.
the Rams don't. Who else did you say?
KC?
And
Detroit? Green Bay?
Green Bay.
Bay.
Green Bay does.
Green Bay's about to win this division.
Hey, the
Oh,
Bears.
that's
Whoa. The Bears, they did some really good stuff against Green Bay's offensive line.
Early.
Yeah, but see, again, that's what I'm saying. We don't know
But that's a
how
new
much
coaching
is early and how much is
You're
not.
right, but I'm also looking at Green Bay with a new coaching staff. and and how that coaching staff adjusts now that they have more tape. Now, Mike Patton had been there already, but still, he didn't have the players that he has now. So I'm still looking at it. It's better for Green. It could be beneficial for both teams because the Bears have got to see parts of Matt LaFleur's offense. But looking at the fact that Green Bay has arguably the best quarterback in the NFL, if not he's top 3.
Yeah, for sure.
But it means so much.
That covers up so much.
Oh yeah.
If the Bears,
and they're running the ball crazy now.
If the Bears only had just a comparable, like, seasoned veteran who can do whatever they need to do, they'll be in a better position. At least going down for the rest of the season.
When you were talking about Matt Nagy, when you look at a coach in a season, the bye week is one of those weeks where it's like, we need to see what you do coming out of it to really show what kind of mettle you have.
And they're going
so
to
we're kind of at that point where we can't just bury this team because they're at one of those moments in a season where it's like, okay, you got to show us something.
But okay, to play devil's advocate, if this was last year, and last year we were even more, I won't say delusional, but I think we were even more doubtful because the Bears were a young team and we hadn't seen it.
Right.
But now we have last year to know that the second half of the season, offensively, they really didn't play better
at all.
Sure.
So I'm just going off of that part. Your quarterback you had to handcuff.
I think you have a good sample size to look at this now, right?
You're also,
I think we need more. I think we need a little more with Mitch.
We've talked
I don't think he's going to work, but I think we have to give him more.
You said how we have to go to a Blake Bortles style. What if they start going to more of Blake Bortles style? What if they start doing some things that Mitch likes and the offense doesn't explode, but we see that noticeable where it's back to being better? And then the defense, as long as they don't go up against a dominant offensive line, they're going to keep you in a game. I mean, there's just a lot of things still up in the air.
How many points are you talking about?
But see,
like
if the offense scores 20
points.
Yeah, if they score 20 and the defense holds bad offensive line teams to 17, you're going to win a lot of games.
All right. Coming up off the side of this break, we're going around the league. Around the league. Around the league.
D and Davis Show.
I was going to say your mama.
Keep all that.
Nothing like a well-placed your mama.
What's up, everybody? It's Cameron Smith from CBS 2 Chicago. You're listening to the D and Davis Show.
D and Davis Show. It is time to go around the league. Brian, what you got for us?
Let's we got to go Thursday through Monday in this around the league, and we'll start with maybe one of the best games, if not the best game of the overall weekend. That was last Thursday again. Man, I love when those Thursday games are on Fox. They find a way to make it an event. And that was those Seahawks hosting the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
The Rams probably should have won that game. Missed a field goal late.
Yep.
Zerline from 44.
Lost to the Seahawks 30-29.
Russ was running around dropping dimes, man.
Saving my fantasy.
The great Russell Wilson.
He's straight.
Better than Andrew Luck. Where's Andrew Luck?
Can we get him on the Bears?
He's still not as good as Andrew Luck.
Ha! Please.
Who? Do you know what Andrew Luck would do with that team?
I know one thing. Andrew Luck is sitting on his couch right now. Which he should be because he understands his body.
Because you're not Russell Wilson.
Because Andrew Luck was getting
murdered. Russell, baby.
He was getting murdered out in the streets.
Russell out there dropping
Imagine if
with a dime on his arm.
That's what a white person gets for being in Indianapolis.
I know he didn't have an offensive line, but imagine if Russ took the beating that Andrew Luck took.
Hey man, but you know what?
He'd be too fast to get away from it.
He wouldn't even be with Sierra. She would have left.
The brother's dropping dimes with a dime on his arm.
Stayed with Future.
The great Russell Wilson.
Yeah, she ain't leaving him.
First ballot Hall of Fame.
He got too much. Ain't a question.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
I mean, he gotta be no lower than the fifth best quarterback.
Man, come on, baby.
But if Andrew Luck was here, he'd be the sixth.
Oh no, I don't know about all that. Russell's doing this when Andrew Luck was in the league.
Beard, listen, he can't even grow a beard, let alone a neck beard. Exactly.
Hey man, listen, they may be going back to the Super Bowl. What did you talk?
They won't be doing that.
I'm just saying.
What about the rest of the team around Russell Wilson? How's that doing?
Well, my man DK finally jumped out this week.
Yeah,
They
second and third touchdown.
went away from what they went. They went to a power running last year. Kind of went away from it this game. Got that touchdown pass to Chris Carson. Offensive line still playing woeful. Defense is straight. I mean, it still has some of the identity of Legion of Boom, but it's not. Of course,
and they never gonna be that again.
That secondary is maybe not good.
I'll bet you.
But the thing is, when you have a great quarterback,
And you got the front seven. They got a good front seven.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner, Jadeveon Clowney, and some of those other guys that they got.
Yeah. No, man, Seattle's definitely looking good. I'm happy to see that because I don't know. It's good when you see one of those kind of perennial powerhouse back up top doing his thing because that 3 to 4 year stretch, man, they was running. They went to 2 Super Bowls and actually won one.
And should have won 2.
Should have won 2. Should have had a back-to-back Super Bowl championship.
Damn, Russell Wilson.
Hey, man.
That hurts. Like
It does.
to be those players on that team.
It does.
And to think you could have 2 Super Bowls and you
Richard
only have
Sherman, look at him.
one. I was just about to say Richard
Hey,
Sherman.
the simple fact that being a back-to-back. When the last time I had a back-to-back Super Bowl champion?
It's Patriots.
Yeah.
When? Their first
When they
few?
had their 3 out of 4 or whatever,
Yeah,
or 3 and
last time.
4.
Right.
One of them were back to back.
Yeah.
Or 2 of them were back to back.
So think about
Let me
that.
ask you a question about this game. Does it mean more that the Rams lost or that the Seahawks won?
Rams lost.
Why?
Because there's always that question on, even though he had 2 touchdowns, but is Gurley the same? And as D just said, the golf situation.
He cannot be the same, bro.
Yeah, but see,
Gurley?
And but think about it, that offense was built off play action.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there and your quarterback, who is a situational quarterback, you don't have the best weapon to open up everything that he needs to really get to be able to do what he needs to do.
I mean, he was the star.
And the fact now that you look with what Seattle's doing, and Seattle came on last year, I think we thought maybe Seattle could be a wild card team, perhaps. Seattle could win that division.
No, they can win that division. Yeah.
And because
Oh yeah.
the Rams,
tough
and look,
division.
that Rams defense hasn't necessarily been the Rams defense. And to be honest with you, out of these last 2 years, they never really got out of those corners what they thought in Aqib Talib and Peterson.
They given up 84 points in 5 days?
Yeah, dude. It's that defense. Wade Phillips isn't getting what he needs to get out of those players. But, man, I don't know if it's the players in him, but if it's the players, it's bad. If it's him, he's getting out-coached.
Let's move over to another game on the weekend that was pretty entertaining, and this was good old Midwest battle of top 5 teams. The Cowboys hosting the Packers.
Jerry, after 2 straight losses to 2 good teams, how much of this is go back to the drawing board, and how much of this is stay the course?
Well, I think it's the NFL, and you know that they pay their guys too. And so you know you're going to be up against, before you're through, you're going to be up against handfuls of well-coached teams. You're going to be up against talented teams. You can't turn that ball over and give them the ball, and you can't not stop the run. Just fundamental things right there. And I don't care how much skill you got or how much spirit you've got or competitiveness you've got, you can't do those things and win football games. And we all know the turnover thing alone really puts you behind the 8 ball.
Big NFC matchup. The Cowboys trying to bounce back after a really tough loss to the Saints where they didn't give up a touchdown. And the Packers trying to bounce back from a tough loss with the Eagles. And it looked like basically from the jump, the Packers were going to be the team that were going to win that game. What'd you guys think of the Pack and the Cowboys?
How is this a good Midwest battle? I just didn't understand it.
What do you mean? They're both in the Midwest.
Both teams will have to be in the Midwest.
Are they not?
No, the Dallas isn't
You
in
say
the
Dallas is in the Midwest?
Dallas isn't
That's
in the
Midwest, basically.
Well, it's
All right, fine.
Well, there's
it's
Central-
not a Midwest battle.
there's
What's your
Central Standard
thoughts?
Time,
I
guess.
mean, do you want to get drugged by a truck?
Do you want to answer this question?
That's the South.
That's what I'm about to say, brother.
It's pretty much the South.
Dude, look at my skin color. Don't tell me Texas. stand your ground, homecoming. Like
It's all the same. Who cares?
No.
Let's go.
no, brother, no.
Oh, we're focusing on the wrong parts.
You can't say some things to us, Ryan. Mississippi is just like Chicago.
Around the league or around the technical terms of the U.S. states?
I would say Dallas dropping this one. They're now pushed back to 3-2. But
There's not any concerns in that division.
Philadelphia.
Whoa, you don't think?
Not at this point.
They're tied for first.
Yeah, but
You
for
don't
me,
think Philadelphia is
a concern.
I have Dallas going all the way.
A concern for me would be Philadelphia's 2 games up right now. They're not.
No, they're not.
The Giants are trash and Washington's trash.
Yeah.
And again, but and not to say going into this year we didn't think that, but there was at least a concern that perhaps Washington could be a team that like Detroit. As far as they could steal a game or two from the top teams. Now you know it's just the Cowboys and Eagles. The Eagles haven't looked like they were supposed to. Outside of really the last game and a half,
Wentz has been looking pretty good.
Dallas hasn't looked like it's supposed to. But I don't know. I guess I would want to go with the talent on Dallas. But I have to go with probably Doug Peterson because I can't believe in Jason Garrett.
That's a good point.
That's a really good point.
Dak Prescott, I mean, I know he wants to get his contract, but he isn't doing himself any kind of favors with it. Although I think
not if he's going to keep struggling against the good teams.
Yeah, but you know what? He's been in the playoffs. He's been in the league, 3 years now? I think he's been in the playoffs
twice.
He's been in the playoffs twice. You know,
missed 1 year.
So, he has a resume to at least be able to get the contract, but he needs to help himself out. I just think Green Bay right now, man, is just clicking.
That's what
I think they're just clicking, and I think they're going to make any team right now look like, oh man, what's going on with them? But I think Dallas definitely
they
has
lost to Eagles a week before.
But even when you say clicking, the passing game isn't even clicking yet.
You talking about Green Bay?
Yeah. That passing game, as far as what we think it may become, it's not even clicking.
They figured it out.
They're getting to it, but the run game was fantastic. Yeah. And they've been like, man, Green
Bay. How about that Cowboys defense? It's supposed to be so good.
True.
Yeah.
They didn't get pressure on Rodgers. They didn't stop the pass. They didn't stop the run.
I mean, because they got Lawrence and maybe Quinn on that line that you really worry about.
Yeah, but you got the linebackers. You got the coaching.
What kind of game are you calling? Like, how much pressure?
I'm with you. I don't think the Cowboys have a great defense.
Yeah, I don't think either. You're like,
but I think they're talked about as a great defense.
I thought they were a little bit better than what they was going to be.
I got to back around the league up. I forgot something. Speaking of linebackers play, I'm sorry.
What?
We got to do this. Breaking. So Roquan Smith gone? Roquan Smith had a terrible game.
Oh,
how many plays?
What do you mean gone?
I meant as far. No. I meant what we thought. Beginning of this year, I'm like, dog, and we don't even mention how many shows I said we don't even mention what Roquan may be this year. How many plays was he slightly out of position? And the thing about him,
make a comment that Nick, say his last name, Ryan
Kwiatkowski.
There you go, play better than Roquan.
Kwiatkowski,
dude.
But granted, though, he didn't play last week.
He missed a week.
And
his instincts are going after a week.
And also too, it seems like something going on with that practice. Because there was a lot of pictures out there with him not having his helmet on.
Okay, I wanted to bring that in, but back to your Dallas Eagle thing. I'm with you. I thought Dallas has some good talent on their defense, but I didn't believe in it as a collective. But I also think it's more of a situational defense, where different parts of the year they're better than the sum of their parts.
I'll buy that.
Okay, I buy that too.
I like the Jason Garrett point that you brought up too. Man, it just seems like, how is Dallas really going to win a title when they are automatically coming into the game against a good team, probably losing the coaching battle?
They are.
And like, Dallas has talent, but do they really have as much talent as anyone?
Well,
are they really like top talent, just missing the coach?
I know it doesn't sound right, but Galloway being out has hurt them. It's hurt them because really, outside of playing Lattimore shutting them down last week when it comes to Amari Cooper has been balling out.
He has been balling.
But you need the guy.
Me in fantasy.
You need the guy on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And let's also listen, I'm not saying Zeke's playing bad, but Zeke isn't playing to the Zeke level.
And why can't they get him the ball? Like we talked about this already. Why can't they throw him the ball?
I don't understand.
Zeke?
Why can't he be the opposite to Cooper or something like that?
I don't understand.
I think Jerry still want to run that traditional back in the back.
You can do that in space, and
You can do that too.
can West Coast that bad.
Looking at the Cowboys' remaining schedule, they're at the Jets win. Philadelphia is going to be a tough divisional game. Giants, we'll see.
That's 2 victories right there.
You got Minnesota, who could be a victory because
I
Kirk
think
Cousins.
they can beat Minnesota.
Okay, I think so too. You have Detroit. We'll see.
I mean, let's be honest.
New England, that's a loss. Hold on. Buffalo, that should be Buffalo a little bit tougher than
Wait, where's that at?
It's
Is
in
it
Dallas.
in Buffalo?
It's in Dallas.
That's not gonna work.
It's in Dallas. Then you have
that's a victory.
the Cowboys coming up to Chicago. Then you have them playing against the Rams, and then you have Philadelphia again. Then you have Washington.
It's an easier schedule than the Bills.
Way easier schedule than the
I would say way, but it's definitely easy.
It's easy.
Dallas has enough talent to beat anyone any given Sunday. It
Exactly.
if we're gonna go with the Bears, how they have been stereotypical with the sample size, Dallas doesn't win big games under Jason Garrett.
That's a fact right
They
there.
did when they
crew.
beat the Saints last year. Dog, you can't remember what people
Can't even beat Saints this year.
You remember what people were saying about the Saints?
I
Y'all
know.
was giving Drew
I know.
Brees
It was a
MVPs.
big time victory.
Y'all was saying that he was maybe the 3rd greatest quarterback of all time.
And we know that
It
they
was a
can
lot of
win
blasphemy
someone
taking
in
place
the.
last year.
They can
Drew Brees
definitely
still.
win in the regular season.
Yeah.
Under
Drew
Jason
Brees
Garrett.
ain't top 3.
Top 3 all time. I think we talking about the records and stuff, wasn't we?
It was reckless.
All time.
It was reckless.
Well, we'll see.
Moving over to the night game on Sunday, another shocker. Those Indianapolis Colts with Jacoby Brissett came in with a very competent game plan on both sides of the ball. Frank Reich said this is the best he's felt about his team going into a game as the Colts upset the Chiefs in Arrowhead 19-13.
Hey, we know one thing, right? We know one emotion we aren't feeling right now. Shock. You know why? Because you could feel it all stinking week. You could feel it all week starting on Wednesday. The defense was unbelievable on Wednesday, and that showed up today, right? That's a really good football team. This is a really hard place to win. And look at what we did, man. Look at what we did. Look at what we did as a defense, offensive line. Shout out. That's the way to wear them out. Hey, we were looking for that complete game as a team. Tonight we saw that. That's what it took.
Did not see this coming, and something's happening with Patrick Mahomes in the offense with the Chiefs because he's only had like 1 touchdown in the past 2 games.
Yeah, I said what it was.
Injury.
It's called Tariq
Hill.
Yeah.
And that leg injury.
I mean, but he had like 10 touchdowns before.
Now, how long were they supposed to last without Tariq Hill? Like, if you have Tariq Hill taking the top off, all the underneath is open. On top of, you may be able to connect with Tariq Hill over the top.
Do we have a timetable when Tariq Hill's coming back?
He'd probably be back this week.
Week 10, I believe, was...
No, he's out the sling. Last week,
maybe he's coming back sooner.
Yeah, he'll be back.
I think the original.
He'll be back in about. If it's not this week, he'll definitely be back the week after this. Because they were playing in Indianapolis, they didn't rush him, and that bit their butt.
They probably figured they was going to beat him.
They thought they were going to beat him.
No, it was a good win for the Colts, and I think the Colts are playing great. They're not
Especially
great.
They're playing better than your quarterback wasn't going to be there right before the season started.
They're playing a lot better than what people thought they were. I know a lot of people already thought that Indianapolis is going to go to the playoffs, but
Brian did.
Brissett has been keeping them right on pace. So that's a good win, man. Going to Arrowhead, which is not easy to play any time of the year, and take down the top team in the
they
NFL.
lost there last time they played in the playoffs.
Yeah. And to take down the number 1 team in the NFL, man, I don't know. I'm going to be making sure the Patriots.
They're up there. The Chiefs are
They're up there, though.
It's the Patriots, though. We all know the truth.
I need to look at the Patriots schedule, man, because I don't think they're going to run the table by no means, but I need to look at their schedule.
They still play the AFC.
They're going to play the NFC
The
East.
worst part is the fact that the Patriots have been with those loser teams for all these years. Outside of the 2 years Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez actually balled.
Yeah.
They've been playing nobody.
Well, Miami always played them tough.
Who's better than us? Definitely nobody.
Man, the Sanchez. The answer
Sanchez. Well, I've heard that.
to the dynasty.
So what do you think
of
about the game, Kim?
Patriots.
About what?
The Chiefs and the Colts.
I love Jacoby Brissett doing his thing. I think a lot of teams
Threw a really bad interception, though.
I don't know if I saw it. I think teams are figuring out how to get at Patrick Mahomes, but I think a lot, like I said, a large part of it is the fact that his X factor weapon. I mean, there's a reason why
when you got somebody always over the top.
He's the most feared deep threat in football right now.
Yeah.
And when you have that guy gone, and because we're just thinking over the top, and the crazy thing is this, like back in the days, like Mike Wallace over the top. Like, yeah, he'll be able to stretch the field or whatever. This is over the top, and he can connect. Like, he is space between him and that safety or cornerback. Like, oh, goodness. And to be a short guy, he can high point. And the running game, also, let's not forget, Williams was the starter coming in. He didn't come back to this week, and he was hobbled. You just brought in Shady. Shady's only been there.
Yeah.
And Shady had a fumble in that game.
Yeah, so it's not even the running back.
He's been looking pretty good in offense.
Well, I'm saying he doesn't fumble there. Maybe that running game, maybe the game is.
Listen, you don't keep a child abuser if you don't think he's an X factor.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just facts.
All right.
Like Madden Superstar X.
It's just facts.
Can't let him go.
You don't keep a superstar, a child abuser, unless he's a key asset to your team.
The last game we got to talk about, and we don't have to talk about it for long, but, you know, we got to always update the Browns and how they're doing. Got the San Francisco 49ers hosting D's Browns.
Steve's Browns. Told his ass.
Damn.
Here's something.
31-3.
Time spent together to get that operation clean. Mayfield taken down again as he just gets rid of the ball. And it was Bosa. What a first half out of this rookie. And did you see him going with that flag motion there? If you remember what happened back in college, it was Mayfield who planted the flag up at Ohio State. Bosa getting revenge.
What do you guys think of San Francisco and Cleveland?
Talent on the team, man.
D is something, and he is the first to think it's facts and jump out the window.
No, it was the talent on the team.
He'd be like, it was on TV. He's like,
Nope.
D, that don't mean get facts.
Nope. It was the talent on the team, and I am not the only one who thought the Browns were going to do well this year.
Hold up. So I said they weren't.
Yeah, that's you.
I'm
okay.
right, and I'm also right.
Okay.
I told you that those players weren't going to be.
You also thought the Cubs were going to make the playoffs, didn't you? Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I told you.
You hear that? Yeah, okay now.
Okay, wait. Let's run that back. How many years have the Cubs made the playoffs?
They made it about 4 years. 5.
Four straight.
So we're talking about, when's the last
5
time the
years?
Browns made the playoffs?
Oh, it's been, I don't know.
No, then what?
Wait a minute.
What?
It wasn't that long ago, was it?
What's not long ago? Give us your definition not long ago.
Oh, I don't know for sure.
No. What's your definition not long ago?
Between 5 and 10 years?
Hell no, it ain't been 5 years.
I said 5 to 10 years.
Man, that's 10 years is long ago.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so don't compare the Cubs and their victories to the sorriest franchise.
Who said anything about comparing?
You're saying,
I said that you thought that they was going to the playoffs, and I told you they were
I'm
not.
going off of history.
Who cares about history?
You're going off
talking about
of
the conversation.
People sitting there on TV lying to you,
about the conversation,
and you running with the lies when common sense told you a rookie head coach that wasn't even an offensive coordinator, it was going to be impossible for him to corral all those egos. I also told you, Baker. How about let me go. Let me finish what I got to say. Let me finish what I got to say. I told you Baker Mayfield was trash. Did I not? Well, what are we talking about right now? The Browns, correct? Why are you trying to spin it like a Republican?
And
You're doing a very good Republican.
And I just said,
keep going, Nunez, with your BS.
Oh no,
keep spinning it like a Republican.
I'm saying something. That's
Republican D.
I am saying.
Well, let's get to the Browns. Let's get to what we're talking about. All right.
I said something that's
Listen,
factual.
do you think the president committed treason?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, then so stop BSing with the Cubs.
No,
and get to the Browns.
I'm not BSing with the Cubs
because we're talking about the Browns.
No, wait a minute.
And you're trying to use the Cubs to cover your Browns mess.
No, I'm stating a simple fact.
What happened to the Browns?
Like, oh man, see, I'm told you I'm right.
So
and
once
I told you when you are wrong.
Once I'm wrong.
Is that not a fact?
Do you not tell me all the times that I'm right?
Good Lord.
You don't tell me that.
What?
But what about your Browns?
What about them? They bad.
But you thought they were good when we told you they weren't going to be.
Yeah, but the talent thought they had something.
Talent doesn't mean anything.
Damn, since when?
If you don't have the listen, if you don't have the culture and a coach, talent can mean nothing. Look, for instance, and I know we can say the quarterback. Look at the Jags. Look at the Vikings. If you don't have the culture and the coach, you go back. You know, great thing. Jim Schwartz with the Lions.
Yes.
Let the inmates run the asylum and lost total control of that team. They had a brief window. You thought, man, the Lions may be able to do something. They got Galvatron. They got a quarterback.
Megatron.
Thank you. Megatron, they got a quarterback. They had Sue. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you, just because there's talent on the team, if you don't have someone to corral it and the right culture, and he's an Alabama quarterback before the time I cared, but Freddie Kitchens, that job was too much for Freddie Kitchens. And even if you see his interviews now, it's like, y'all set this dude up for
they're
failure.
one game behind in first place.
Well, it's not. The division isn't playing well.
Yeah, it's not. And that's what my whole thing was. I think they could win the division.
But see, the problem is this. It's not just that they're one game back. It's how bad they are.
Yeah, they look bad.
The kicker is, the key point was supposed to be, we got this great quarterback. All we got to do is set him up.
Listen, I wasn't a big Baker Mayfield fan coming out of college. I thought there was no way in hell he should have been number one.
That's why I still didn't believe the Browns could put it all together, because they were banking on Baker, and I don't trust Baker Mayfield.
I was banking on the fact that I don't think this division is going to be some type of world beat of a division. They still have a chance in the division. My whole point was the simple fact, I think they can win the division.
Baltimore should be able to pull it off.
They should be able to.
Baltimore should be able to.
They should be able to.
Call D Republican. You're quoting Bob McNair.
It's because he was wrong about the Cubs, and I possibly could be wrong about the Browns.
He went full on.
Okay,
Republican.
fine.
He did. That's an old Republican.
I stated
tactic.
a fact.
He was like,
I stated a fact.
Mm-hmm.
We can run the tape back.
Mm-hmm.
Run it. My God, it's as if it didn't happen. No, Republicans
drain the swamp.
Well, that would be saying, "Oh, I'm gonna drain the swamp," but it's like, I'm gonna hit swampy. I ain't in here swampy. You said they was gonna make the playoffs.
Next, you're gonna tell me.
Make the playoffs.
Next, you're gonna tell me
that's called a fact.
Next, you're gonna tell me Schiff is committing treason. Just a lot of BS coming from
No. It's a fact, man.
Republican
Listen, you just don't want to face the facts of what happened. That's all it is. I told you. I told you.
My question is, how are we switching conversations?
You said,
this is what's the name?
I'm right. And I was like, well, hold on now.
I said most
you
of the
have
time.
been wrong very recently.
I said most of the time. What's the name of the segment?
Around the league.
He don't even know the segment.
Oh, whatever.
See how the Republicans act?
Far from that. Far from that. Was that last game?
What do you call him? The D stand for Donald?
Boy, you almost made me cuss.
Very shifty.
You almost made me cuss.
Very shifty this
Almost made me cuss right there.
Shifty with his facts.
Ooh. Hey, listen, I gave a fact. Everybody out there
Fake news. Cleveland is good. Fake news.
Fake news.
They're a game behind.
Fake news. Baker Mayfield is going to go to the playoffs. Fake news.
All I got to say is
fake news.
This fella was wrong not that long ago. That's all I got to say.
I admittedly say 95%.
Oh my God.
I say I'm 95%.
Immediately, I'm just going to give myself an A.
I say 95%.
95%. Okay.
Might go down to an A minus.
I'm better than an A minus, and you know I'm better than an A minus.
We shall see. All right, coming up next, we're going to go ahead and hit up for grabs. D and Davis Show.
Yo, what up? It's your man Jay Illa, official Chicago Bears DJ, and you are listening to the D and Davis Show. Turn it up.
D and Davis. Let's go for grabs. Ryan Bukovetsky, fresh from Montreal.
I'm glad you threw that in there. That's very important to these questions, especially this first.
Mustache.
Because, in Montreal, they would tell me how big of Bulls fans they were. So let's start out with the Chicago Bulls.
Bulls?
Only the Bulls?
Shootings.
They
Bulls?
Only the Bulls?
Shootings? Chicago.
Baby.
Why do they talk like that? There's no French accent behind what you're saying. You got to have a French accent.
I said Bulls? That was very French.
No.
My fault. La Bulls?
Les Bulls?
Les.
Not in Montreal. They say la.
I think it says la is Spanish, I believe.
I thought it was L.
There's some la. L is definitely
It's
Spanish.
la Spanish.
Yeah, la. You're right. It's la Spanish.
Yeah, there's definitely la. I'm saying it's in French too.
What you got?
The Bulls only have one spot really open for competition to at least crack the starting lineup, and that is the point guard spot. Chris Dunn.
No, it's not.
Who is it then? That's my question. Who is
Satoransky is your starting point.
And how is it going to break down with the other point guards?
I'd probably Satoransky, Chris Dunn if they keep Chris Dunn throughout this year.
Let's assume they are at least until a trade deadline.
All right. Then they got to play Chris Dunn if they're going to trade him.
Yeah.
but also because Kobe White is so young, and it's the point guard. Like, that's not an easy transition.
You think they're going to start off Satoransky as a
that's not even a question.
Let me ask you this, though.
Yes.
How does it break down? Like, is it almost like thirds for minutes? Is somebody dominating minutes? How is it working?
Kobe White's going to have to show, they're going to give him time, but he's going to have to prove himself in that time to get more minutes. Unless the season, and not to say they're going to do anything this season, once it's a foregone conclusion, the season's over, then you can give him a bulk of minutes, but it's going to be probably Satoransky, Chris Dunn, and then the lesser amount of, it'll be a split perhaps between Dunn and Kobe White, but I think Chris Dunn initially is going to get more minutes.
I think the start off the season, I agree with you, because the start of the season, everybody's the same position, right? You're trying to win games and try to see what they do. If they start off, let's say the season, they start off like maybe, 2-10 or something like pretty bad.
1-15.
Yeah, you're gonna start to see Kobe White fairly easy. And I don't know what they'll be able to give for Dunn. I think they're just probably bench Dunn. But I didn't think about they gonna go ahead and start the season with Satoransky. I was thinking maybe depending on what the preseason looked like. I know the game was yesterday and Chris Dunn didn't look all that hot. Kobe White looked.
When does he?
Yeah, I know, but Kobe White has a pretty impressive little stance because he's a rookie though. I didn't think about them just flat out starting Satoransky. I didn't think about that at all.
They didn't bring Satoransky over here initially,
but I thought they was gonna. I think they, for some odd reason, I think they might still start Chris. And then maybe kind of like cut the minutes between him and Satoransky. Let Satoransky be that spark off the bench and kind of run with those guys.
But see, it makes more sense to flip it, because Satoransky, one thing they want to do now is have ball handlers at every position. And with Satoransky, part of the thing is he can play off the ball, and they can use what's his name, Zach to be point guard like they have in the past.
Yeah, that's true.
When Chris Dunn comes in, though, you can let Chris Dunn catch wreck and tell him just go, because the second team's yours. Go do what you need to do.
It was a few sets you ever saw Chris Dunn and Kobe White out there together.
Because height wise, they can play together.
Yeah. So White can get to the rack pretty easily, but he's fast. He's a little cagier.
Jump higher.
Say what?
If he could only jump higher.
Yeah, if he only jump higher.
He could dunk. If he was easy dunks, boy, that boy would have been top 5 in the draft.
Yeah. But he's quick and he's looked pretty kind of aggressive on the defensive end of the ball, defensive side of the ball. But yeah, I'm still leaning towards Dunn start, but I do like the switch up again, saying throwing in Satoransky as a starting point guard.
For me, I'm with Satoransky all the way. I've seen enough of Chris Dunn. I mean, if you're trying to get some value and trade him, go for it.
You gotta play him though, man.
Man, you had to get him mad tick.
I know. I don't see what the return could possibly be that it would be worth it to give him.
The return isn't going to be enough regardless. But unless even in spot minutes, he's just locking fools down. Yeah. Like, damn, he like him.
That's my thing. I think they're gonna probably want to trade him, and that means you're gonna trade him. That means you got to play him.
But they tried to trade. We know he's been on the market.
I know.
No one's biting because look, and they also know
what's there. What's the bite at?
And why am I going to give you something when either you're going to release him or I can get him next year?
Right. Yeah. I can get a second round pick that's just as good as Chris Dunn.
Yeah.
Let's move over to baseball. Wanted to talk about the Cubs and their managerial opening because it's looking like Joe Maddon has picked a spot in Los Angeles. Not that really matters with this question. If you guys want to give your comments about it, but it looks like he's going to sit out and retire as an Angel. But for the Cubs, they interviewed Mark Loretta. They're going to interview Joe Girardi on Wednesday, and then David Ross later on the week. It looks like they're the front runners. Do you guys have a favorite for the job regardless? And who do you think it should be leading the Cubs?
I would say you go after Joe Girardi. That's my personal opinion. I think you want to have somebody in there that has done it, who is seasoned, and who can work with these veterans. I know I have a feeling that David Ross is kind of like that substitute teacher, like that's my boy. I don't have that okay, we coming in here, we doing business. I think David Ross was a great glue guy for the locker room and came up with big hits throughout the postseason, yes. But I don't think they have the window, which I think is already closed. But I don't think they have the window of now let's just try a guy who's never done this before. Why even do that? Go get you a guy who has done it, who has won Who has won? And who's going to come in and is like, hey, listen, we about that business. We about that. Not saying that Joe Madden wasn't, but you know what I'm saying? He had the circles and the tricks and the monkeys running around and stuff and the funny costumes. Joe Girardi coming in and he is about that business. And I think that the Cubs need that if they still want to have this, have a team is going to be in contention year after year after year. They don't want to listen. They're really close to being the 2005 White Sox and 1985 Bears.
No, they're better than the 2005 White Sox.
No. I'm saying
they've been to the playoffs more times.
No, well, this is my thing. I'm talking about winning championships. You want to? I mean, the Bears made it to the playoffs.
It's putting yourself in position.
Yeah, you're there.
You're there, but if you don't, and if we're saying in a 5-year run, you only make the playoffs.
It was a great 5-year run.
You only make the playoffs once. And you got a play-in game.
No. I'm saying that since a winning championship.
But still, you
won't be that one
baseball.
team.
It's baseball, though.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So
but I think with that, but this team though, a lot of people thought. Oh man, not saying that you and I did, but a lot of people thought like, man, this team could probably win another World Series of maybe 3. But that ain't gonna happen. It's not baseball.
True, but we didn't. First of all, we didn't see the NL Central weaponizing itself like this.
They sure did.
We didn't see the Dodgers. Like the Dodgers have had really 3 different dips in here, but never fail. Like it was times you seen Dodgers like, oh, it's a wrap, and then they come back the next year and be like, these efforts back again,
back at the World Series.
Like so,
never won it, but they always there.
So with that, I'm not knocking it. You definitely would have liked to see another World Series trip.
Not even.
But when you've gone to the playoff, and this is baseball,
it's hard.
When you go to the playoffs consistently outside of this year, I can't be as mad. My answer to the question would be, I think if Joe Girardi got hired, it would mean to me that Theo and Jed know that perhaps they don't need necessarily a yes man, and how do they prioritize that? But this is my thought, because I want to say Joe Girardi should be the front runner, but I also feel like this is like the Rooney Rule in a way.
How was that?
Where it's like, let's get these guys out the way so that when we hire David Ross, they can't say we didn't exhaust ourselves when we go for these searches and we just didn't get the guy that we've been saying. Because to me, this is the thing. If
I don't trust first time baseball.
I'm not arguing with you at all on that point. I think that's a good point. But if the argument has been that Joe hasn't fallen in line with what we want and we think we know what this team needs, I don't know if they're jumping out for Joe Girardi, because Joe Girardi has enough coaching equity to be like, you know what? Nah. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't rolling.
Well, that's what got him fired in New York.
That's what I'm saying. So if him and Cashman couldn't
he won though.
Him and Cashman once. He had Yankee teams that they probably should have made. At least they should have been in the hunt more. Let me put it like that. But if him and Cashman weren't simpatico, I'm not sure if Theo and Jed want to have that. And they're like, because even with Joe, think about it, to a certain degree, let's say Joe had to bump up against them with what he wanted. Like that has to be part of it. Like, no, guys, I think I know, right? Because clearly he knows the temperature in the room better than them. So I just wonder. To me, I think Girardi makes the most sense if you're looking from experience, and also he was the coach of manager of the Yankees. All right, former Cub, Northwestern grad, right?
Won a World Series.
Always wanted to be here with the Cubs, right? Mm-hmm. So, but not before they start winning. But I was sat here now, it's like, man, I really want to go home.
I remember when there was a point in time people were saying, man, the Cubs would thank their lucky stars if they got Joe Girardi.
Yeah.
And he went to the Yankees and they won though.
Yeah.
Now Aaron Boone is a first-time manager. But
so was
that's
Red Sox last year.
Yeah, but that was that's like. But you talking about two dudes. I mean, two dudes.
Some good core stock though.
We talking about two dudes inheriting great teams. I mean, my God. With the Red Sox and the Yankees.
It may not be great, but whoever
the Cubs ain't
you
them.
Can't say that with Aaron Boone. He didn't have his team all year long they were on the injured list, and he was still able to get the best record.
Yeah. I'm just saying though, look at their teams. I don't think the Cubs match up to the Red Sox and the Yankees. I just don't. Me personally, I don't think they do.
Yeah, but they're not trash either.
No, they're not trash.
Well, that's the thing.
No.
You wouldn't compare them because the results aren't there with the Cubs. The talent, we think, is pretty comparable to those teams. Maybe not quite as much.
You think so?
You don't have a murderer's row like the Yankees.
You think the Cubs?
No,
you think the Cubs talented?
How talented are the Cubs in Major League Baseball? Are they a top 5 team?
No, but they're top 10.
I think they peaked way too early, and they now seeing what they actually are. You have a few stars on this team.
But again, let me ask you, where would you rank their talent in terms of Major League Baseball?
They're top 10, dude.
Yeah, top 10.
They got a
top
good-
10.
they
Top
got a
10.
So in their
top
mind,
10,
you
yeah.
get the right manager. Maybe he can take a top 10 group and get them into the top.
I mean,
five.
only what? How many teams get in the playoffs? 8 teams get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got 3 division
It was
winner
right
and 2
at-
wild.
right
They
outside
didn't
of it.
lose the division till a week and a half out. Like until St. Louis put them out,
yeah.
they was right there.
But we have been seeing the issues that they've had
have.
for 2 or 3 seasons, though.
Yes, we have.
So it's kind of like, okay, Pace, my God. Theo, what are you going to do to try to cultivate that? What are you going to try to
But
fix
see,
that?
part of that is I'm with you guys. I like Girardi and Ross. The question I think is, like you kind of said earlier, Ken, how much does the front office want a guy that's going to listen to everything that they want him to do on the field?
This lineup in, and I want this happen.
Hey,
Not no
these guys
established
come
dude.
in at these times. Right. It's not going to work with Girardi. It
Not
didn't
an
work in the
established
ink.
dude.
That when
Yeah.
Cashman wanted to go more analytics, Joe was like, well, I got my gut.
Think about that. So we're talking about a gut guy with analytical front office.
And those usually don't work out. That's why Ross makes a ton of sense, because he does buy into the analytics and he would do what they want him to do. So how much does the front office value them?
And I'm not sold on their talent going into next season. Not in the sense of competing and winning it. They don't have
What about the division?
I was gonna say they could have enough talent to win the division. Dude. They almost won it this year.
You don't think they have enough talent to win the division?
And they're
I
pitching.
really
think
like
about
St.
how-
Louis and Milwaukee.
But are they far? Like, I get that you like
I
them
don't think they're
better.
light years ahead of them. No, they're not that. But
I mean, if they had a long stretch of playing good baseball,
are we
they would
banking
win.
on the? Are we
If
banking
they-
on the Cubs going back
if
into
they
being
hit.
the talent of 2016?
Right, if
we're
they
like-
hit.
They haven't been doing that for 3 seasons.
But okay, let me say this. I
It's been
think
3 seasons.
they may not. I think they're going to try. I'm not saying it'll work. I think they're going to try to figure it out. And I also brought up this. I brought up the Dusty Lupinella comparison to when Dusty was there. At first, they were like, "Hey, we spending this bread." Then the Tribune was like, "We're not spending nothing." As soon as Lou came, Soriano came. Like
Alfonso Soriano,
Alfonso Soriano, they start spending money.
Yeah.
You think about the last couple years. Okay, the year before last, they went out and spent money in free agency, and that money really wasn't for this manager. Not to say they didn't want him to win, but they brought in you looking towards the future because that at that time that contract was sweet. And you're like, we got this arm for this length of time for that money? And now we'll see if going into this offseason, hot stove time, are they going to make moves to try to do something
Do
with
they
the
have the
money?
bread to do it?
They got the bread with Marquis, but still the question is, are they going to move one of their star guys?
You have Lester. Okay, is he going to be the same dude? He's in decline. You have Q, not who you thought he was going to be. Darvish kind of have a rebound season. I don't know.
The rebound half.
Yeah. Cole, he's not
gone.
gone. He's gone. That's 4 of you guys right there. And then you got half.
Well, you
It
can't
turned out to
count
be
you
Almora.
as necessarily bad. He could be really good next year
Yeah,
too.
I was going to say that.
Okay, all right, fine, all right. But you
To
got
me,
half.
that's-
You got half. You have Almora who didn't pan out. You have
Yeah, but you still got Javi, you got Chris
who's
Bryant, you got Rizzo, you got Contreras.
Rizzo. I think is
Yes.
I mean, you got some guys
You
that
got
can do
guys.
some stuff.
You got, if you flip one of them,
But see, you talk about moving somebody. I wouldn't even talk about moving nobody. I'm talking about going in.
But
with
see,
the,
but you know
with
what?
the stars you have.
You gotta hit an honesty track with Bryant.
If they moving people,
you gotta realize
they're done.
But you can't say that.
All right.
Because you
What
may
you
be able
getting
to, you may be able to get 2 stars for Bryant.
Who? What?
I don't know the trade, but D, for a player of his talent, and you're trading with 2 years left on his contract.
You talking about getting stars in the minor league system because that's what they need to replenish.
But I'm talking about guys that are ready to play in the majors. If it's a minor league player that's ready to go and a major league player, you can get two guys for Chris Bryant.
So they
for a
need
team. And now, if Chris Bryant didn't have any controllable years, I'm with you. But he has 2. So you can get something. We know from when all these rebuilds, I'm not saying this is a rebuild, but because they're not trading Javi. Like, they're not trading Javi.
No.
But and the point is, even with this, it doesn't seem like you're going to sign Chris Bryant. And if you're not, especially, let's be honest with this, if this year you can't come to an extension with Chris Bryant, you need to move him.
Now, I will say this. If they decide to move Chris Bryant and that team isn't doing as well as they are, or they think they should be, they will end up moving Javi. Their minor league system is trash. They need to replenish it for real. The guys they brought up, they thought they was going to hit. They peaked at the exact right time, they won a World Series. After that, they was always in the playoffs, but you saw the decline steadily year after year after year, although they was always in it. I'm not saying that they wasn't, but you saw it, and then you saw everybody else kind of coming up, and this just happened. It's baseball.
Before I switch to our last question, any thoughts on these playoffs? Anything stood out so far in these baseball playoffs? 'Cause I think it's been pretty entertaining, especially on the NL side.
Yeah, I mean,
Any players? Any have you guys been watching?
I've been keeping my eye on the Yankees.
What'd you say?
See where they going.
A little bit.
I've been keeping my eye on the Yankees. Like I said, my dream matchup is the Dodgers versus the Yankees. I would like to see that. I know you want to see chaos.
I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah.
The ratings would be through the roof.
Through the roof. Yeah. We haven't had that since the 80s. They played. It was in the 70s. They played against in a World Series.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time since the last time they played against the World.
Who would you want to win it?
You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing the Dodgers win.
Oh,
I wouldn't mind seeing the Dodgers because they've been there. They've been there for so long, and they've been knocking on the door, and seeing they finally get it. They haven't won anything since like '86.
the Yankees have been knocking on the door.
They just won one not that long ago. Let the Dodgers get one.
I don't think they won one since Joe Girardi in
Yeah,
2010.
well, how long ago was that?
2010, I believe.
All right, 9 years.
It's long.
Listen, it's a long time, but look at the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers is longer.
Kirk Gibson
Yeah, 86, right?
Yeah.
Is 86 to 88 last time they won one?
against the Red Sox announcer.
Forget the Dodgers. All right, last question. This is an easy one. What's your Thursday night picks? It's not a saucy one like we've normally gotten, but it is the Patriots hosting the Giants.
Patriots. Close the segment up.
I want to see what Jones does against this defense of the Patriots.
Are you out of your mind?
I want to see what he does.
I got a better
I want to
question.
see if he...
How many picks does the Patriots secondary get on Jones?
1.
2.
Do you guys want updated NFL game picks? I have those.
Oh, yeah, true.
Run it.
Run it.
So I'm going to take
taking
the Patriots.
too. I'm taking the Patriots.
So we're all taking the Patriots, I believe. I don't think I have Kyle's official vote,
He's
but I
taking the
believe he will.
Patriots,
So in first place is Kyle after another solid week, 48 and 31. But you have a new second place, and it is me
So it must be you. How you
at
say.
47 and 32. I'm one game back.
Ooh, nice.
Sid is in third place at 43 and 36. Ken is in fourth at 42 and 37.
Where am I at?
Another rough week for D.
Damn it.
36
Damn
and
it.
43.
I had did good the week before. That's what.
Why did you pick Washington over the Patriots?
No, I didn't.
I think you did.
There's no way in hell I took Washington over the Patriots.
I think that was what you said.
No way. No way.
You better let Chanel start with you.
No, man, come on.
Yeah, it says Washington.
You've been
It
saying
does?
After the Bears, it says Washington.
Oh, Lord. Let me see.
it. Messing up, dude.
Hold on.
I was like, really? Well, all right.
You need to send that back to me and ask you, like, are you sure?
Nope. Nope.
I typed
Are you
Washington.
sure? You don't get are you sure's?
Maybe I thought they was playing somebody. I don't know.
Wow.
I could have sworn.
I had a really good week, if you guys care.
Yeah, what you have?
I was 12 and 3.
That's nice.
Oh, that is pretty good.
Wow.
Set the highest win total of the year so
I
far.
can't even deal with that.
I know, I couldn't believe
typed
it.
Washington.
Wow.
And typed it out. It wasn't even
I did.
WSH.
I must thought they was playing somebody else.
I think you were just rooting for your favorite team.
Oh, that's definitely not them.
Wow. Back in the slurs. Doubling down.
Let me see.
Forget that Tom Brady
On
and that
racism.
Bill Belichick.
Who did I think they played? Oh, okay.
All right.
Who's they gonna be?
We're going to close this segment. We're going to come back and close the show out, Den Davis.
What's up, Chicago? This is Chris Sosa from Red Eye, and you're listening to the Dean Davis Show.
Den Davis. Last segment. Appreciate you.
Love you.
Sometimes. We're a shocker, though. Shout out to Shocker.
Shout out to Shock. Yeah. No doubt. Everybody out there checking us out. We love y'all.
Which one are you going to get into first?
Let's get into Jerry Reinsdorf.
Yeah.
Jerry Reinsdorf says that he has no recollection of advising a former Marlins president to finish in second place every year.
That sounds like something Jerry would say.
I'm an old man. I'm confused.
We've heard this in the past.
You know, Jerry Reinsdorf, when I first got into baseball, I've never told this story before, and I like Jerry very much. And I'm sorry, Jerry, but here it comes. He sat me down. I was 32 years old, just in baseball for my first of 18 years. And he said, you know what? Here's my best advice to you. Finish in second place every single year. Because your fans will say, wow, we've got a shot. We're in it. But there's always the carrot left. There's always one more step to take.
So listen, I want to say this isn't true, but I don't think this man has a reason to lie. And I think we've heard this in the past when it came to Jerry Reinsdorf. But to be honest with you, the proof is in the pudding. The White Sox have only gone to the playoffs 5 times since he's been ownership. We've seen the Manny Machado debacle where Kenny came out and told us that their contract was better, but it was loaded with deferred money, when meaning it's not better. All right. So and we've only time we've really seen that, for me to recollect right now, the White Sox jump out and get a free agent was Albert Bell, where it was like, no, we're going to get him. They don't do that. How often do they say, forget Budge? And they did have a run after the World Series ring where they were no lower than 7th in payroll for about 6.
Which was a shock to a lot of White Sox fans.
About 6 to 7 years.
Did you hear what their payroll is next year?
I know that they're like $100 million below the threshold.
It's like at 27.5.
Yeah.
That's their payroll right now.
And that's before Abreu's re-signed, but yeah, you're right.
If they re-sign him.
Okay.
Well, if you're getting JD Martinez, you can't have both, can you?
They're not letting Abreu go.
Yeah, they can.
They're not letting Abreu go. Yeah, but
have both.
Yeah,
you can have both. But they're not letting Abreu go. All right.
Got too many DHs on that team.
No, you really, there's only one that's working.
Yeah, but you're planning on some other guys. At least giving them chances.
I don't think Adam Vaughn's coming up next year.
No, he's not really. No, not
Magical.
Andrew Vaughn.
That's what I meant, Andrew Vaughn. I don't think Vaughn's coming up next
Who
year.
do they got now? The catcher. That's probably not a catcher.
No, Collins isn't. That we can wish on a star if you want. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
Okay.
We've been waiting on Zach Collins for a long time. So to me, you got a guy in Abreu that can play some first, but is a DH. You can bring in another guy, and at least you have power. And you put that behind the guys that they already have.
Yeah, we was kind of going over. We were talking about JD Martinez eventually may possibly sign to the White Sox, and it was kind of be around him. But going back to the point of Jerry Reinsdorf, it wouldn't shock me if he did tell him that. I said before. I mean, I just heard the clip, and he basically said like, "Hey man, listen, I don't mean to throw you out there, Jerry, but I got to." There's no reason for the dude to lie.
Why?
Why lie about it?
Or even a bit like this. If he's surmising the conversation, there's still some validity to the point or what the context is. Mm-hmm. The context is Reinsdorf basically told him, don't you try to go out there and try to win it all every year. It's basically what he said. Also, I wonder this, further diving deep down. I wonder if Jerry's even adding in market into that. Florida. Like, you guys aren't really going to be contending like that. And like budget-wise, yeah, your owner can spend it, but y'all not going to be raking in that income.
They almost moved down there.
So I know they were supposed to play in Tampa.
They both played in Tampa, yeah. So maybe he knows a little something.
Sox in the market, sharing it with the Cubs, who's the big brother. Looking at it through the same lens as a small market, basically. But it doesn't sound like that's what he was alluding to. It sounded like he was just saying, business-wise, the best thing is to keep fans wanting, and if you give them what they want, they're not going to appreciate it. So just leave them in the lurch. If you're in second, there's always a chance to be better.
But the thing is, eventually people pick up on that.
Yeah, not Bulls fans.
But the thing about the Bulls fans, they had that great run in the 90s.
Called Lemmings.
Yeah. It's called championships. It's called banners. So that's going to keep rolling out. And then you get lucky with a hometown kid who wins the MVP. It was something there.
They had more success.
Yeah, way more success.
Yeah, way more success.
Way more. Listen,
even if we just count the Derrick Rose run.
I'm with you. It's way more. But you know that what he said to David Sam, that's true about the Bulls for sure.
What?
No, you don't think?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
You think so?
I mean, I'm not saying that they wouldn't. The good thing about the NFL, the NBA, they have a salary cap.
Yeah, so you have to spend something.
So, but also but elite players are locked into a certain salary. They can only get paid so much compared to an MLB. A guy can come out there next year and be like, I want $400 million. Yeah. So I won't say the Bulls won't be in contention for elite players, but we know elite players won't come here because even to go along with what Ryan's saying, we don't think elite players talk about how deep down do the Bulls really want?
Yeah.
Like that's a conversation when you're talking about franchising to other players is like really like, do they want to win? Will they do everything? Think about the fact with Mickey Arison that when Mickey Arison started not spending that little bit of money that the big three left down there in Miami, LeBron got mad.
Yeah,
LeBron was like, we're taking this pay cut. You're supposed to basically go into luxury tax.
Yeah.
You know, like this is what we decided on in doing this. So we know that players view that when you don't go that extra mile and put that extra cash in there with tax wise and may hit you double fold, that players are like, dude, I'm doing all this and you're not giving me what you're saying. So I agree with you. I think it can apply to basketball, but I think just financially basketball has a bit more allowances because players can't ask for the greatest amount that never had before.
Yeah. And the thing with the White Sox, they was never always at second place.
No.
So
he loves the White Sox too much to just have them be at second place.
I can't wait to
listen, you in a Chicago market, you understand it. He did not have to be the second tier team.
Not initially. They took him off of Channel 9. That's what started
it, yeah.
Because
he was forward thinking way too far in the future.
Yeah.
But you're in Chicago. You don't have to be that second tier team. You didn't have to be that.
Or you don't have to be complacent.
Yeah, you did not. You could
be fighting for it.
Exactly.
And at times you could be the first team.
Yes.
I mean, if they went on an extended run like the Cubs just did, like the 4 and 5, like I think that there'd be a lot more White Sox fans, regardless of if the Cubs were the more popular team.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people thought that coming with Frank Thomas and all those guys, like, oh man, listen, they just
didn't have the success.
They didn't have the success.
It's also because your owner was pushing for
the strike. Exactly. Like, wait a minute, hold on.
I know we can win this, but man, financially,
I want a World Series title, but I love money.
Exactly.
Yeah,
now
right.
with the younger team, the talent you have on the South Side, hey man, listen, you might be able to get that. You might be able to take off, and you might be looking at 5 or 6 year run on the White Sox, and maybe
they better spend this offseason with that low payroll.
They can't lowball nobody. They can't be like, we'll get it to you in 2045.
But see, the problem is who wants the money. Like Garrett Cole, he's gonna have options. You're gonna be like, hey man, we know we rebuilding here. You want to come here? Like, is word really? And I was looking at, but you know what? I was reading friend of the show, James Fegan in Athletic today, and talking about as far as the players coming here, and he was saying that when Nicholas Giolito and James McCann were at the All-Star game, that all they heard was positive stuff from other players. And that sounds good. Mm-hmm. But the question is, do other players really believe that, or are they just playing you lip service? And do they think, because this isn't the Cubs the year they brought in Lester. This isn't that they're not there. They're still not there yet.
They might need another season to show and prove.
So around the league, is it Garrett Cole has enough belief, and mind you, Lester was going to his old management. Does Garrett Cole have enough belief in the Sox that he's like, man, I think y'all gonna really try to do it? Like, so that's the problem with that. Like,
especially when the Cubs come in with a bigger offer?
Is the talent on here enough to make this team a destination to free agents in the MLB?
As we have to wait and see.
Yeah.
What about your other nice little tidbit?
All right. Adam Silver reacts as China TV cancels NBA games and broadcasts. Adam Silver came out. We all know that Daryl Morey, the GM for the Houston Rockets, came out and basically said freedom to Hong Kong. Now, if you don't know, especially like the last month, there have been violent demonstrations in Hong Kong.
Worse.
A cop shot some kid last week out in the public. Every weekend, it's a very authoritative regime.
They control the media.
I was about to say.
It's state-run. It's a communist country.
There's a camera on your face. I think in one trip to home, there's like 30,000 cameras that hit your face. And that's not to even talk about the cameras they have in space that can pick your face out or whatever. They tell these demonstrators they're not to wear masks. I think most of us look at Amazon and stuff like that, and they tell you, if you wear a mask, it's a great combatant to facial recognition and things like that. You also see them with umbrellas. If you enjoy the freedoms that you have here in America, and we know America isn't perfect, you don't get those in China. All right. And it's also very oligarchy if you look at kind of Russia and how money is funneled into who. It's not a capitalist society. Money is funneled into certain places because the people in control of the country can benefit from those people having the money in situations like that. So Daryl Morey is saying the right thing when he said freedom to Hong Kong. But damn, son.
He opened a can of worms.
Like, the brothers was trying to, we be living off that China money in the summertime. Right? Like, damn, brother. Like, Derrick Rose grabbing his shoes right now. Like, damn, this is the only way I was getting that extra bread.
You weren't interested to see what LeBron's going to say tomorrow?
I think LeBron is not going to really hit that one.
But that's his thing. He hits it.
He does touch on it.
I think it's so big. When you're talking about China, China?
Well, I will say this. I think LeBron has a little bit of a cover because Adam Silver came out and said that they back or they are not going to reprimand or whatever, like however you want to kind of say it. What Daryl Morey said, like, listen,
I just yelled at him a lot.
Yeah,
I cursed his ass out this morning.
Yeah, but
we support freedom of speech, though.
We support freedom of speech,
just not against other countries.
He's over there. I think Adam Silver's probably got there by now. He's on his way over there. He said he was going to talk to. I
believe he's there.
To the higher ups, if you want to say, within the country, try to smooth everything out.
Yao Ming is in hiding.
Oh, Yao Ming's pissed.
Yao Ming is actually like, hey,
he is upset.
He's back in the government. He's back in the government.
Yeah, he runs the basketball.
Yeah.
But if you remember Yao Ming's story, y'all remember Jing Zhong Ji? I believe
I remember the name.
Remember before Yao came over, Yao almost didn't come over because they were always supposed to go back to China in the off season. And Jing Zhong was like, I ain't going. And at that point, China was like, we're not sending Yao. And the thing with Yao, and there was always the undercurrent of Yao could never bash the government because his parents were still over there.
Yeah.
And so I listened to the New York Times daily podcast. Is it the Daily? It's the Daily. And they had a good one on China. And there was, I listened to this about 2 months ago. It was a young man whose mother was in one of these camps. And I actually saw a news video magazine. I don't know if it was CNN or MSNBC. They actually went into one of these camps that they have where they do re-education in China. So there's they're native. They're one of the large groups they fight is not it's Hong Kong, it's their own people. I don't mean that their own people, but also native Muslims. And so these Muslims can't have beards. Women that have children, they take them away from their kids, and they may see their kids once a week, and they go through this re-education so that they won't be terrorists because that's what they're worrying about. And they keep them in these dormitories. And it just goes through how strict and messed up it is. And again, things aren't right over here. But getting back to the Yao thing, because the young man was talking about he knew he would never see his mother again because the government basically did not care for him. And also because of what he was doing now, talking about it. And there was always the undercurrent with Yao, like, yeah, some he would never cross the line because he couldn't get his parents. He couldn't get his parents. They may not let his parents out of there. Right. You know what I'm saying? Especially being Yao and wanting to have leverage over him.
Right.
So that we're just trying to give you the context. And we have this. It's funny. I have this this article from Deadspin talking about the ESPN forbids discussion on Chinese politics when discussing Daryl Morey's tweet. And the article just goes into the fact that ESPN really pussyfooted a lot and never got into the brass tacks of why Hong Kong is fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, so people don't know. We're not really talking about what China's doing wrong.
Yeah, you have to be really into politics and world events to understand what's happening.
What's Ramon Shelburne? Mm-hmm. She was talking about this. She had learned in the last 48 hours the most she had ever heard about China, what's going on over there.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I mean, but America's very isolated though.
Some people don't pay attention to stuff like that. It's easy. It's easy when you're here not to think about what other people are going through. I'm not saying that's right.
Well, also too, they control what comes out with the media.
State media.
They do not allow just anything to come out. You can't use Facebook and things like that when you're in China.
Listen, they changed the wording of a tweet, the official tweet that came out from the NBA, going from saying what NBA was like, basically like, hey, listen, we back freedom of speech, and I don't have the exact tweet in front of me, but the Chinese government or Chinese, because they use Twitter or they use something else.
It's something.
It's like a different. It's like something different.
Something that they can control.
and they basically changed the wording of the tweet, and the NBA had to come back out and say, no, the English version is what we're actually saying. So they got control in everything. But to go back to LeBron James and a lot of guys who do speak out on these things, I think they might have gotten a little bit of a cover with Adam Silver.
Why?
But the
Why
finances.
do you think they got a cover with
because he came out and said that we support
free speech.
Free speech and what Daryl Morey said. Listen, at first they was kind of like, hey, listen, James Harden was like, we sorry. He said it to the media like, hey, we apologize. We love it over here in China. They take care of us. But then the NBA to come back around and say like, hey, no, listen, actually, we back freedom of speech.
Of the Colin Kaepernick situation and the NBA, the Donald Sterling, even though when you look at the history of Donald Sterling, you can say the NBA didn't do what it was supposed to do a lot earlier. That's more the NBA saving faces because they're supposed to be, we're the self-conscious league. And
plenty of government officials. I have statements from them. Plenty of government officials are calling out the NBA on both sides of the aisle too.
So this is the thing. Adam Silver had to save face with what he's established is what the NBA is today.
Mm-hmm. They're American company, so their values, he said, go across seas.
This
is
their biggest importer of basketball. Yes. All right, largest
$4 billion or $5 billion a year, I believe.
So
that's just for the league. We ain't talking about that.
Now, when you say that Adam Silver gave him cover, I would say maybe the cover is if Adam Silver said the players can't say anything, I think that would have amped LeBron up to say, oh yeah, I got to go in on this. Not to, so I think it's varying degree because I think LeBron always wants to show player power. Again, LeBron is wealthy, and I hate to say this, I don't know how much he likes his money because, to be honest with you, I hope if I was in this situation, because I always try to do the right thing, that I would just stand on what I believe in. But man, that is hard with that Chinese dollar and how much money you can make over there. And we're talking about
and he's
basketball players.
The face of Nike's by far and away.
Say, like so we're saying Nike is there, right? Mm-hmm. We're saying all of his sponsors are in that, and we're saying that LeBron's gonna. I just don't think he's gonna rock the apple cart. Like
I don't know if he's gonna come out.
I'm gonna say he may
like,
address it.
He ain't gonna come out with a T-shirt and say like.
But you also remember
hashtag pro.
What if he did?
That would be.
But remember, LeBron,
he probably won't make it back.
Do you remember though when LeBron? I can't remember which teammate it was. But before the I Can't Breathe thing,
yeah, he was going around with the sign for it was something happened overseas and he wouldn't sign it or something.
Yeah, LeBron initially would say, "If I don't know enough about it, I'm not going to comment on it."
Right.
So he could still technically cover himself with saying like, "I think everybody should be able to speak their freedoms, but I don't know enough about this." I don't know if he's gonna flame China. I'm just saying that.
Well, this is an interesting.
I'm just saying that.
This is an interesting thing about the NBA with China, though, and I've read many articles and listened to plenty of analysts say this because this is now not just like on ESPN. This is like on news channels now, right? So they basically say like the NBA is almost kind of like the second religion in China. They love the NBA, huge, and they say like, listen. Walmart had to capitulate with the Chinese government. The airlines had to capitulate with the Chinese government. But he said the thing is,
it's like California.
There's what do you mean by California?
It's so big that they can get, for instance, like the EPA and with cars. California knows that even with the deregulation that's taking place with the White House, that if they set their standard, basically car companies have to go off of that because they want to sell cars.
Oh, true.
In California.
With the NBA,
that's
and
what
China.
you're saying as far as with the financial control that China has.
Basically,
yes.
But with the NBA though, it's only one NBA. There is no other competitor to the NBA.
Not the Shanghai Knights?
Not at all.
But
not at all. And they were saying like, listen, they could be the one American company who doesn't have to kowtow so much to them.
Who said that? Because that's impossible.
No, I've heard plenty of people say that.
The Black League won. But let me get to this.
Are you talking about the straight power of? They say, listen, if you want the issues that you have right now, imagine if we decide to pull out of China altogether. Now, it has to come down to what the owners want to do because I'm sure they have financial ties to China. And Adam Silver is only doing what his boss is telling him to do.
They just, I think it's See something. I forget the name of the television.
CN.
Dog. They got rid of the Rockets games. They're not going to play them this season.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about the control the government has. I hope you know that if NBA became rebel rousers, they're not showing the NBA.
But that's the whole thing. And because the NBA is so powerful in China, the only their thought.
I don't think they that powerful, bro.
No. I'm not saying
that they're gonna have an uprising over basketball.
No. I'm not saying they're gonna topple over the government.
No basketball.
Not saying
like, I don't think they gonna tear that back.
But they already having issues right now.
Yeah, but I don't think the homegrown protesters gonna be like, and no basketball.
They're from the aspect of what they're saying, and these are analysts that study China or know what's going on over there more than we do. They're saying they're the one American company that doesn't have to bow down to them like other American companies had to.
Okay.
So
but will they?
I don't know.
Will LeBron show support for Hong Kong, D?
I think he'll say something, but I don't think he'll go out there like, yeah, I'm
but
riding
saying
with the
something
protest.
is supporting.
Nah, you can dance.
Not to China.
Yeah, not to China. You can't.
China is like you either are in or against.
I think, but
the owner of the Nets is Chinese. Is that?
Yes.
He came out and said like, "Hey man, listen, I'm from there. Y'all don't understand what y'all doing. It's either black or white. It ain't no in between."
And especially put on top of that the Black League.
But I don't think they can. Well, you think that has something to do with the Black League with the Chinese people?
Man, you think? Yes.
Okay. Okay. Listen.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fine.
I think at one point you get like, yeah, those blackies could fly in the sky, but yeah, we're moving on. They playing that baseball?
Baseball ain't got nothing on the NBA.
I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't think. Listen, the Chinese government is not going to be controlled by the NBA.
No one's saying that.
But even when I'm saying this, the NBA, regardless of the fact that they enjoy the entertainment, that authoritative government is not going to sit there and placate to the NBA.
No one's saying that they're going to placate to the NBA. What they're trying to say is the NBA is the one league. If they
one
pull
company,
out,
you're saying.
Not the one company. The one American company that doesn't have to capitulate to the government.
I don't think that's correct. I just don't. Listen, if McDonald's has to,
it's another restaurant.
Huh?
It's other restaurants beside me.
Yeah, but
there is no other NBA.
But
there's nothing else.
But still,
and they're like the second religion.
I'm not arguing with that. I still don't think the Chinese government. That government is not going to go into turmoil over losing the NBA. And I'm not saying that's going to happen.
They're a dictator country.
That's my point. In a dictator country, if the NBA keeps showing that they side with rebels, they're going to get that out. Because that's what we've seen them do.
But you're talking about the government. I'm talking about the people. That's two separate things.
But the government, the point that we're saying is, unlike here in America, and again, we're not saying everything's cool in America, they control what you see.
They do.
So they can get the NBA out of there. It's not a situation like, wait, just let me finish. If the NBA lost its Disney deal, you can still find it on Twitter and stuff like that. It's not easy in China to do stuff like that. So I'm just saying different avenues to still keep the NBA and get what you want. That authoritative government has so much control, they can box out majority of those.
But as of right now, these protests have been going on like crazy.
But let's not confuse. But let's also not.
They do have issues.
But let's not conflate the protesters with the NBA issue just because Daryl Morey was supporting the protesters.
Very true.
They're not protesting.
Some people might not even care.
That's what I say. They're not protesting about the NBA. Daryl Morey was just
not at all.
So not to put those two things and correlate them. We don't necessarily want to do that. I just think that government and what we've seen in the past. Listen, I've been doing a lot of China stuff the last 5-6 months.
What have you been doing?
I just news wise, I've just been into it.
Okay.
And you just see like they don't play. It's not even close to do they play.
But even if there was an issue of you saying they don't play, these protests are getting bigger and crazy.
But it has nothing to do with the NBA.
I'm not saying it has anything.
But let's keep it on. But let's keep it on that though. Like that's what we're saying because you're saying that.
No, we're talking about the NBA and the protests. They are merged right now. That's the discussion.
No. The discussion that we're having right now is does the NBA have leverage to kind of say what they want? Is the discussion we're having, and I'm saying they don't. That's the discussion we just had.
Now what Adam Silver just said, we back freedom of speech. So if somebody comes out and says something, they have backing of the commissioner.
But what was he supposed to say?
Who's going to say?
He was going to. I mean, Adam Silver in the pro.
He could have definitely said like, "Hey, no, listen, he could have
got hit up.
They already got hit.
It would have been worse.
Now think about this though. They got hit up on both sides of the aisles. saying, okay, we have, I'm reading, okay, unacceptable. This is from Chuck Schumer, senator out of New York, discussing it and grotesque. That's from Marco Rubio, senator out of Florida, Republican. Shameful. Rick Scott, Florida, governor. Elizabeth Warren, the NBA chose its pocketbook over its principles. Now, you have the NBA who is looking at this gigantic market like, oh man, listen, within the league and the players, man, this is rocking out, this is messing up my money. But the NBA comes out and says we support free speech. As Ryan said, they don't want you to say nothing. But don't either you with them or you against
but don't you? But isn't the NBA? They were just giving lip service though. He found the lane that was basically because it wasn't going to make anybody happy, but it was the closest lane that he can take.
After that statement, the games was taken away.
Okay, but listen,
after his statement, the games were taken away.
No, those Rockets games were gone.
No,
those Rockets games were gone.
After he said something, it was like another little verbal.
I don't know. After the Rockets games, for what I know, the Rockets games were gone after what Daryl Morey did. Those games, those preseason games were taken away.
And then I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know after this, but they also they reached out to their private companies and told them you got to take everything down off yourselves, tied to the Houston.
But this is all I'm saying is this:
private industry over there.
This was the safest lane for him
in America.
Yes, to make both sides as unhappy as possible.
In America.
That's all. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so what about China? But what do you think they feel? How do you think they feel about his statements? We support free speech, and you know they don't.
Look, I think China can still be upset, but I think if he said what Daryl Morey said was right, then the NBA is like he still didn't go in on China. He's doing what he can do as an American for a liberal league, quote unquote, a liberal league. Mm-hmm. He's fitting the lane that he can ride that is the safest. I'm not saying it's the best for either side, but it's the safest, grayest area that he can ride in right now.
Well, we shall see what they at least do. What happens? As you said before, the game's a blackout, but I'm very interested. I'm with you, Ryan. I'm very interested to see what the bigger players like a LeBron James says.
I want to see what LeBron says.
I'm very interested to see what he says. Because you had James Harden apologize.
You know he's going to get killed here in America if he says nothing.
He's the face of the Rockets, Yao Ming's team. Daryl Morey basically bus tossed him. Right. And you know, James Harden just want to party anyway. He like, man, I just come over here to get my party on and collect that cash bag and get back on that plane. I had nothing to do with this. So
I'm MJ.
And it also, the crazy thing before, but think about this too when you talk about James Harden, it hit James Harden before the commissioner had to say something about it. Because it's like, oh, wait, the GM said this? The owner came out, Fertitta came out and was like, man, forget what he said. Right. So the next Rocket that was impactful was James Harden. James Harden, he's the most popular Rocket outside of Yao Ming, period, for them. He's more popular in China, I'm sure, than Hakeem Olajuwon because Yao came after Hakeem. So, and that's China's team. So again, you're going to want the player that's the face of that team to come out and say something about it. So he was going to keep his bag.
I mean, I'm looking at something right now saying that, I don't know how true this is, I have to read the article, that the NBA might be the linchpin for the U.S.-China trade talks. This might be bigger than what we think it could be.
I don't know
about that.
We shall see.
I think Biden's dirt is the linchpin for trying to trade talks. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's more important than.
But they came out and said that China came out and said they wasn't going to do anything.
First of all,
you believe them? That's one thing.
First of all, listen. Let me tell you why that's wrong. If you think Trump is going to do something to help the NBA, who no team has showed up since he's been in office.
Oh yeah.
He gonna come there and be like, y'all should keep them up out of there and give me that Biden dirt.
Well, I will say this:
I'll trade you.
The bright side of it, at least, is getting more Americans to notice what's happening.
What's really happening in China? Yeah, I agree with you totally.
Yeah. All right. Hey, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Music, Stitcher, the TuneIn app, YouTube, and War on Anchor. What kicks you over to Spotify. All right. Check out the podcast. Subscribe, rate, share, all that good stuff. All right. Keep rocking. Keep rolling with us. All right. Keep rolling with us. I'm on Twitter, DeMons1. Ken's on Twitter at That's Davis, and Ryan's on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski.
We will definitely give you a flip this Monday. We'll be back in the house doing our thing.
Yes.
Swearing and having a good time. As D said, we always appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend some time with D and Davis. Hopefully we give you something and we also put our twist on it to make it a little bit funnier or malleable. funny malleable, I think would be the thing. So you can fit it in if you didn't get it, but also it's a few jokes, so it's not as dark as unfortunately some of these days seem. But you're still alive, so be happy. Don't do anything stupid before you hear from us again.
Keep your hands to yourself.